play for a pinch, I believe, on the mound. Paper X continued in that direction. Now Paper X has that Nightfall. Jing close to a showstopper. Can clear open the site pretty well. Here they go.
Into the site for free, relatively cleanly. G2 playing back, playing respectful. Clone eating the shots. Paranoia, however, connecting on the multiple players. Shove them back. Allow for G2 try to get clustered together. Nightfall, I think gonna be a bit of a whiff here.
That's what that push out was for.
Going onto the corner, relay bolt gonna be connecting something. Pretty much stuck here in position. And Jogamo cleans up too. Forsaken doing his damage to try to keep his teammate protected, but he cannot make it happen. The slide in divide. Cuts down the Neon, but Trent finds Jing up over top of the box. A 2v4 now. Has to swing out, and Patman's only gonna be good for one. Fault line does not connect. As Divide tries to split his aim. G2 continuing to run this back 2 rounds in a row. 1 round separating from tying it up.
G2 masterfully dodging that Nightfall was so impactful in that round. And then anticipating the crossfire setup that something got stuck into. Forsaken had to come to try to bail him out. And they're so ready for it. And the double swing there. Nice little jiggle peek from Jonah P as well. Really well
Já docela si divím, ale ty vole, že tam je Paper X, protože když se na to se koukám na e-sport, na VLCT, VCT, to vole, ne VLCT, tak oni dostávali bomby, ty pičo. Jím, že se jako kvalifikovali.
Needs to maybe be about that A-Rubble control a little bit. Seeding that side of the map has kind of caused some problems because it's allowed G2 to play how they want over on B and C.
A vlastně první mapu vyhráli, ne?
Jo. Granted, that last round was all about just the retake, just understanding the utility that was going to be coming their way.
Being able to avoid the Nightfall allows them to get back in that much faster, that much cleaner. Rough tidings for Paper X. The final timeout gets sent. Let's see what they're able to scrape together, but for Jogamo, he's got an operator in hand now. Looking at these early advantages. It seems like he's gonna maybe go for a bit of a forward peek over towards A.
This is a critical round for Paper X.
Try not to die.
They are spending a lot of money here.
Time to jump.
Even buying up to a Guardian for something. A lot of half armors.
Going out.
Have to try to find ways to get this done. Jing! Oh, that was so close.
Bounds across in towards the corner. Swings out. Valen continuing the challenge here, continuing to try to find that kill. Not going to be cleared. Valen will concede the angle. Allows for Jing to stay alive here for the moment. Tap at the door. Gate crash back into a lobby. It's like Paper X trying to see if they can catch somebody along the sight line. Speaking of which, Jogamo off at the ready, swings in. It's going to be a quick 1-for-1. As Forsaken does get the headshot to answer back. The Neon on the floor. 4v4. Jing though, just 32 health. Spike in hand here for Patman. They juggle it over. The answer's going to be no. So Showstopper not going to be built up, but
Okay.
A rare little oopsie from Trent on the shock dart.
Spike planted.
Unable to find an initial chip value.
By zrovna o ten tam nečekal, že by se netrefil, ty vole. Asi nervozita.
It's going to come down to timing for Leaf.
The haunt sent, nothing spotted. Two starting to push forward, but Divide at the ready. Gets rid of the flanker, the time starting to dwindle, the swing out.
Oh my god.
Into the spray down. Trent answering back though, trying to carry them forward. Jing at 32 HP. So frantically hunting, trying to spot them out. But they have them surrounded, they have them split.
Kurva, já doufám, že tu mapu vyhraju do piči. 11-9.
11-9. They denied G2 the tied scoreline.
And it's a little bit similar to their pistol round, where they're going to use something early to get to that tree door to open it. But this time he TP's back, they go for a stacked push. And that's a great call because they're able to shut that operator of Jogamo down and open up the site for themselves. Just some great ring around the rosy here for Forsaken and Jing in lockstep there. That duo, so good together. Played together for so long.
Side forward, Jogamo. An aggressive play takes Jing out of the equation. That's that showstopper once again, not needing to be a concern. Players bounding through the door. Trails telling the story here for Divide. He will just stay in position just in front of B. Something pushed up forward, finds one,
Huge.
gets his, gets out.
You can see with this Vice Wall, they were playing to B or C the whole time. And G2 has completely misread it, expecting.
Is in so deep.
Yeah, they were expecting Paper Rex to go to A again, to try to double down into what had been working. But Paper Rex wisely changing up strategies here. And they're gonna have info on the lurk potentially, and this is gonna have to be pretty pacey from G2. It's gonna take them a long time to get to the other side of the map.
Both teams just worlds apart. Curious if Forsaken tries to send them from the shadows, go for a scout here, but now the sheer wall is there.
Nějak tomu retakeu nevěřím, ty vole.
Players split. Something looks like he's gonna go sliding forward towards that one-way smoke. Steel guarded. Sent here in anticipation. We'll find the weapons of the two on the opposite side of the door. Recon going to be cleared out. This fault line does not connect onto something. After shock, he's already swung out forward. He's already got the headshot. Goes for the something swing. And it works. It's magic. Paper Rex.
Je dojebala ta ultina, no.
12-9. One away from knocking G2 into the lower bracket.
This is just really good calling from Paper Rex. Round-to-round changes are absolutely befuddling G2. They're seeing a very different Paper Rex today. It isn't just full-on early committals. The first side of contact not always going to be where Paper Rex is going to go. Something with these early lurks on the Yoru have been giving them fits. And G2 is going to pop what could be their final time out of the match.
Ale ty dresy mají pěkný, to se musí nechat, vole.
Versus Team Liquid, it was something regularly getting punished off the rip. Misjudging how much free space he had, pushing forward into C, trying to find those cams, trying to clear that utility, and then just getting picked off, completely unawares of his surroundings. This has been something that we've known and loved for quite some time. He's finding that impact on the regular, right there alongside Jing, who is leading the lobby. A big bounce back from what we saw. For G2 now, though, an all-in send. 3 rounds needed in a row to take this into overtime and do what Liquid could not, as they look to try to extend this over into a third and final map to still have an opportunity to keep themselves in this upper bracket.
A couple big ults to play with in this round. You've got that Hunter's Fury, you've got the Rolling Thunder. Trent has been so on point with these Hunter's Furies. He's always seemingly good for one.
He has been, but that thrifty impact, that forced buy, hasn't been getting as much value for G2. It needs to right here, or it's all going to come to an end. Outlaw in the hands of something. TP, top of rubble, opts to not stick around, doesn't want to overstay his welcome. Backs off, and they're able to avoid the gamble here from G2. Plant will provide a nightfall for Patman. Showstopper at the ready for Jing. Rolling Thunder out the door, looking to shove them back. Smoke gets cycled in with the Hunter's Fury, able to find its value. Forsaken going to be taken down, Showstopper lobbed in to no avail. Something does manage to find one, Jonah P going to be traded out. In the end, as the dust settles, it's a 4v4. But G2 have successfully staved them off.
Yeah, this Outlaw, there's 3 players left with 50 armor. So it isn't going to kill anybody in one shot except Valen. So this buy, see if something can still get value out of it. Another great lineup there by G2, just pushing for that space to get the easy angle with the Hunter's Fury onto that choke point that Paper Rex is trying to force their way through.
Stejně, i když prohrajou tady to kolo, tak oni budou mít 2 ultiny zase.
By himself, Leaf trying to reposition.
Vlastně 3, protože Forsaken už má ultinu.
Fuck, no. Something looking for the second shot. Wow. Able to find him in the end. In the head is Jogamo.
Okay.
Tearing them apart. Outside of A, the swing in, Divide.
Co to bylo?
But the time is just not quite there. Trent
Nice.
will get the pick, and that is going to be the round over. Nothing more than something could do. Just 2 HP.
Ale mají 3 ultiny, no.
G2 They will scrape by with the win. They find their stability. The ult usage is perfect. And now they need 2 more rounds to take this into OT.
This is a great call here from G2. Willingly giving up space on C to set up for this ult combo. Who works a treat, and then just Paper Rex just kind of not accounting for somebody being at the door. And yeah, they're just walking right by it, not even checking it. And that's a tilter for sure. You're also giving G2 the ability to get some guns into this round. They get a little bit of their economy back. Leaf is going to have a judge. Paper Rex is a little bit scattered.
Stinger and a Bulldog in the mix, plenty of half armors. It'd be a great time for Jogamo to try to go for that outlaw, but wants to play pacey. Speaking of which, Dimensional Drift immediately sent here from something. Bounding out of it. Short is in hand. He finds Jonah P. Jogamo taken down by Jing. Trent pushing forward, able to find one, but he's quickly overwhelmed. A 2v4 with Leaf with a judge.
Jako Valin. Valin to dokáže, no přesně. Kurva, ty vole, škoda. Škoda toho Leafa, že nic nedal do píče. Protože on má 9 životů. Nice. Já nevím, jak on to dělá, ale on vždycky těch jako crucial situacích to vždycky dokáže vytáhnout, ale vždycky. Vždycky, ty píče. A oni použili všechny tři, ne? Ulti nebo co neměli. A nevím, jestli použili toho Omena, co se našel. Calm down. Jo, použili všechny, nice. Kurva, ale oni budou mít zase tady tu, jak ona se jmenuje ta svině? Co zruší ty zbraně. Chci říct Sky, vole, ale to není Sky do piči.
One away from the Steel Garden for Divide.
Peeking Jogamo, able to spot out multiple players.
He's got that overdrive to boot. That is so scary. Saw what he can do with it earlier.
Pojď ty vole, 12-12.
Blind spray out. No contact found, Patman. Forced to tuck back here for the moment. Tap on the door, Jing. One blast pack, the judge in hand. Boombot to try to check. Jogamo pulls up the angle. They look to back away, but a lot of this is on Divide.
Ty vole, dej to.
Finds the first, but he doesn't anticipate the second layer. Turns back, identifies it, but still loses something at the same time, able to find
Dobrý, nemají ultinu.
And that's going to be a player advantage here for the side of Paper Rex. Hasn't meant a ton for them in these past couple rounds, but the paranoia will stave them off here for the moment. The 2-player split, Valen, Trent, in through tree, Jonah P. Checking stairs, watching for a late wrap around. Forsaken on the push, is able to find Valen, traded out. Patman holding close, finds it, and it's all down to Trent, and he cannot make it happen!
To byla skurvená škoda, ty vole.
The circle of time from last year to this year.
Oni stojí, jo, ty fanoušci. Víte, nechtěl stát, vole, 40, takže jo, to bylo všichni. Oni bolely nohy, ty koko. Ty vole, oni to fakt dali. Ale zase jako to. G2 se vždycky dostane z lower bracketu.
As they have pulled off something that not many people thought was going to happen here today. Do you know what? He's abandoned the train. I'm happy to take the ring.
Chile Gaming.
Full steam ahead. As Paper Rex look immaculate. We're going to go ahead and send it down now, as we will hear from our players in the Verizon post-match interview.
Track by track, this Paper X train just keeps moving, and as they pick up their first win here at playoffs, I'm gonna try and grab Devi over here for a quick interview. Hello, come and join me, come and join me. Come and stand over here. First of all, congratulations, Devi. You get your revenge on G2, you pick up this massive win here. But my question to you is, how did you mentally recover what happened against Team Liquid? Because often that is the most difficult part.
I mean, after the Liquid game, it wasn't easy, I would say. We went back and we had a team talk and everyone was saying their parts and we tried to understand from each other's POV, and from there we worked on that because we knew that coming to the playoff is not gonna be easier than the Swiss, you know.
What was your reaction when you saw the G2 pick Lotus? Because it's still a little bit traumatic, right?
I mean, we kind of knew that when G2 got the third pick, they're gonna choose us because I think at the moment everyone wanna avoid Genji, so we knew that G2 gonna pick on them in that moment. But I mean, you can't really complain much. You just have to work harder, and the better team win, you know.
When it comes to
The
the
better team
conductors
win, you know.
of the Paper X
Really?
train, there's a few of them, but I want to ask about Mini, because throughout stage one back in Pacific, we heard you guys talk about Mini's helping you a lot with your defense side. So coming into this tournament, is he still helping you guys? What's he been up to?
Yeah, he's still helping us. Usually after matches, he would give us like some notes to work on it individually, especially on CT. I mean on defense. So yeah, I mean it's working out great, and hopefully even though we close out 2-0 today, I'm pretty sure there's some notes that we can work on. So yeah, can't wait to go back and read his notes.
Well, what notes did he give you specifically? What did he say you need to do?
I mean, usually for me, he just focus on the ulti because sometimes I don't really use the ulti much because I was lurking and stuff. So yeah, just the utility wise.
Very last question. 3 Pacific team in the playoffs. A lot of people underestimate your region. So what is it about Pacific that you think is so strong right now and is better than the other regions?
I think, I mean, every region has good aim and stuff, but I would say just in terms of aggressiveness, I think the Pacific play better in terms of the other region when it comes to good day, you know. So yeah, I think in terms of aggressive. Yeah.
Well, it's a very good day today, Devi. Thank you very much for joining me. We'll see you again in a couple of days. Up next, XLG versus Sen. Don't go anywhere.
Jsem zvědavý na Sentinels, no. Ale tady to mě zajímá.
Arguably the greatest Valorant player of all time just played his worst tournament ever. And Heretics, a team that many people expected to be in playoffs, have bombed out of the event. The Swiss stage at Masters Toronto was full of surprises, so let's get into it.
Ty Heretics mě nasrali, no, ty vole.
The opening weekend of Masters Toronto showed us some truly shocking performances from both MIBR and Heretics. After a 13-1 loss on Pearl and an abysmal defensive half on Icebox, Heretics were immediately knocked into the elimination round by Paper X. And if I'm being honest, Heretics looked like they didn't even want to be there, and unfortunately they never actually recovered from this loss. Despite playing slightly better against Wolves on Tuesday, it still wasn't enough to beat China's 3rd seed.
It is just a time thing and a massive humbling right now, because obviously this is one of the most embarrassing results I think for us since we started the team. Literally, actually is for sure the most embarrassing thing. So it's another huge humbling. We got one in kickoff. This is even bigger, and we learned from the one in kickoff. We need to do the same here.
Wolves have honestly looked solid so far, and they carried that momentum into their match against BLG, eliminating their domestic rivals to earn a spot in playoffs.
I got a feeling that something's right. Wolves are winning tonight.
This run by Wolves has been hype, and they'll be going up against RRQ first in playoffs, but we need to talk about Aspas. What happened to our GOAT? Aspas looked nothing like himself, and to be fair, everyone except Verno didn't really look too great for MIBR at this event. Now, I don't think many people expected MIBR to just go on and win the whole event or anything like that, but they look nothing like what we saw from them back in VCT Americas. And perhaps the most shocking thing of all is that Aspas, of all people, has exited the event with the second lowest rating next to his IGL Artzine. He went -28 across the 4 maps that he played. Even Nats managed to get more kills than him despite only playing 2 maps. This was a very uncharacteristic showing from Aspas, and I know there are Brazilian fans out there that are freaking out right now, but just to feed them some copium for a moment, Aspas's teams have historically struggled at the second event every year, but then bounce back at champions. Anyway, their opening day opponents, Texture and Gen G, have looked absolutely incredible so far. Despite being the second seed from their region, Gen G genuinely looked like a team that could win this entire event. They still have the same core that were finalists in Madrid and that won Masters Shanghai, but Ash and Foxy9 are also matching their pace. Gen G looks terrifying, and I genuinely feel bad for Fnatic. They got that nice playoff bye, only to get matched up with Gen G in the first round of the bracket. That is rough. Literally a repeat of Masters Shanghai last year. But the other team that 2-0'd their way to playoffs was, of course, Sentinels. Despite some slow starts in their matches against Wolves and BLG, the North American hopefuls managed to steady the ship and get things done in front of their fans. After the match, we asked Sentinels IGL John Cutie who he wanted to play in the opening round of playoffs, and here's what he had to say.
I don't really care, to be honest, because that's not like up to us. But it would be funny if we play XLG. We're like doing the Chinese gauntlet. It would be kind of funny. And yeah, I don't mind as long as it's not G2, just because like it's just always fun to play other regions, and we play G2 all the time. So I'm sure we're gonna meet them like in playoff anyway. But yeah, I'd rather play other teams just for new experiences.
Well, John managed to get his wish. XLG was given first pick of the Swiss teams, and they actually picked Sentinels as their opponent for the first opening round of playoffs. So I guess we'll see if John and Sen can take down the third and final Chinese team. Another big storyline heading into the event was that Liquid was forced to play their opener against BLG with Penny as a sub because Nats was dealing with visa issues. And although they lost to China's second seed, the Canadian native delivered for Liquid, especially with his Phoenix play on Haven.
They're finding the timing as it now comes down to Penny. It's been a while since he's been on a master stage like this. A curveball in hand, but he doesn't need it!
Real ones know that Penny has always been a beast, and he can easily hold his own in Tier 1. But what we didn't expect was for Liquid to move to a 6-man roster, even after Nats made his return to the lineup. Penny played Jet for them on Icebox against MIBR and stepped up once again, while Serial subbed back in to help close out the series on Sunset with his Cypher. But one thing that wasn't surprising was that Nats came back into the team and didn't miss a beat.
Ball comes through. Penny has his head ripped off. Cortezia finds those shots. And on the spike is Stornoo. He's gotten it to half. Are they going to know he's going to be there? They're too busy dealing with the rest.
It feels good. It's a bit awkward, I would say, honestly, because I just arrived day and play. It's first time ever for me, honestly. If like before, from 2021, it was like 7 days or 10 days before the matches. Before it was like 5 days. Now I'm actually beating my record. 2 nights and 1 full day before the match. So I mean, I'm enjoying this challenge, and yeah, it's just cool.
In the final elimination match of the Swiss stage, Nats went up against PaperX for the first time in his career, and this match delivered. PRX were up 12-8, but Liquid fought their way back to overtime off the back of a Yoru fake clone from Camo, and one of the most disgusting aces you will ever see.
Running out of time with the A site open. Won't get punished, but also doesn't spot out anyone at all, including Kinko. Showstopper now. Invested as Jinx flying at him, and he's dead. As it explodes erupts beneath his feet. Keiko looking for the ace, and he has it.
Okay.
Liquid closed out split, but PRX bounced right back, taking Sunset in dominant fashion to force map 3 on
Kolik vypadaly bylo slíp, než vypadaly
really
naposled, když jsem koukal,
They were
vole.
down 1-11 at the half, and despite winning the second half pistol round, PRX won the bonus, pushing the score to what seemed like an insurmountable 3-12 deficit. But Liquid gave us one of the craziest fake comebacks we have ever seen, forcing overtime only to lose the map immediately after. PRX certainly gave Alex and Mindfreak a little bit of a heart attack, but they managed to snag the final spot in playoffs and set themselves up with a date against G2. PRX notably picked G2 in playoffs at Masters Shanghai, only to lose to them. G2 also got the best of them at Champions late last year, so this is a pretty big revenge match for the Pacific.
No, a teď prohráli G2. To už se hraje? Ne, to se nehraje. To co zaznám. Jsem si říkal, volám pičovna. Bude nový anime. Mě se zajímá. Water Magician. Isekai, to mi rádi. To mi moc rádi.
Televize anime 水属性の魔法使い
Summer.
TBS.
A to dobrá, mám rád. Co to teď bude? Což teda znamená, že to bude MC. Kde to máme tady? Takže to bylo Water Magician. Summer, takže by to mělo být teďkon, by to mělo vyjít. Kde teď budou končit? Ty začíná, vole, vždycky ty vole. Jak to je? "18 days." Kde teď budou končit, že jo? Spring anime. Končí teď příští týden. No, ještě některý budou do dalšího týdne. Ale většina končí příští týden. Tak pak je nějaká pauza, pokud se nemýlím. A pak by měli dávat tamto zero, kdy to teda přesně vyjde, protože to tady není napsaný. Jo, tady je, vole, start date, July 4th. OK. To je za dlouho, piči. Doufám, že to bude dobrý, protože tady tu season ty anime stály všechny za kundu. Všechny byly totální jebka, ale neskutečná.
Pretty much fresh because they've never played at a global event before. So you're looking to really see Rarga step the hell up and carry this team potential. Not carry, but really shine.
The thing that is definitely going for them is having the extra time to deal with all the things that are against him, like having to change a player, bringing him in, also learning from what the things have.
Čekaj, to jsem neviděl, ty vole.
In an instant, the moment collapses. Every choice, now a memory. Every decision, now questioned. opportunity rises again. The moment is in your hands. Squeeze the trigger.
Ready, set, go. Ready, set, go.
Ano. Mně přišlo, že kdysi ty trailery byly v nějak víc hype než to.
Out of the group stage, which I do think there was questions of how that would go, because they weren't a number 1 seed. They didn't have a huge amount of time to prep for this event, and they were one of the biggest Teo teams, at least coming from the Americas region, but they looked really strong in that group stage battle.
Yeah, one of the players we were just seeing right there was Narrate. I think that the fact that the vibes are back for the side of Sentinels, we know that makes a massive difference for them. But them being alongside Gen G, 2-0 qualified out of that group stage, as you're saying, just going up against the other 2 Chinese teams, they could go 3 for 3. Why not? You're Sentinels. That is the way you do things.
Oh, man, yeah, this Sentinel squad comes in with a lot of hype, as they always do. But we got to go back to the things that we were chatting about before, right? That you got this team that's had time
bez
to
vlasu je
really
něco, ty vole. Co je tady to? To není Genshin, ne? Tady to. A je ten Wonderland. Tak co to kurva je? Ani není řek. Jo, to je to je, jo. Si vůbec nepamatuju, že to vypadalo takhle. Ukaž to. To není ono, vole, to UI vypadá úplně jinak.
Able to just get up on very, very high highs. If they are able to keep that up for today, they could be having a very flawless round, a very solid tournament up into the grand finals.
Who knows? Who knows? But Yinsu had an opportunity to catch up with the man himself, the Vibes Merchant, to get his thoughts ahead of the match.
I've got the Vibe Merchant himself, Zelsis from Sentinels, with me today. Now, Zelsis, I really love seeing all of the beautiful friendships you've been able to make so far in this tournament, particularly against some of the CN teams. And now you're running the gauntlet, this time against XLG. Tell me, who's going to be your bestie in this one? How do you win them over, but without losing your perfect record?
Rarga, I guess, is going to be my bestie. I mean, I'm going to try and get in his head because I think he's like their superstar. So I'm choosing him as my bestie.
I can't wait to see it. Thank you and good luck.
Zelsis has the strategy to get in his opponent's head, but the strategy comes from guys like John QT in the server. But you don't got Tejo no Mo. I love that lower third, best one we've ever done. And look, this has really been interesting because, guys, I don't really know what to expect as far as, well, I mean, we've seen a lot of Sentinels here, but I just don't know what to expect when it comes to this matchup against XLG.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's always weird playing an opponent that doesn't have that history. But for John, it's cool to see this kind of come full circle. He moved from Morocco to Canada to go to school in Montreal, and then kind of got the opportunity to get into Valorant there, was playing with M80 in the online era, and then finally got this opportunity with Sen, went down to play in Los Angeles and full commit to this career, but now gets to come back to Canada, play another event as this leader, and try and push Sentinels through, which I think is such an interesting full circle for him.
Yeah, it's a full circle when we look at also the where he has come from, when he started to where he is right now, ready to be one of the best IGLs in the world. Time and time again, every single time that we go to a tournament, this is one of the pivotal parts of Sentinels that you have to deal with. It's not even only about superstars here and not. You need to get into his head if you want to win against Sentinels.
What were our predictions again for this one?
The only prediction that apparently matters is Achilles,
Yeah,
and
no,
he
I
had
hate that guy.
Sentinels winning, so whatever. Listen.
Yeah, you had Sentinels winning, right, Mimi?
I did as well. I think the pressure is going to be huge on Rarga for this game. It's so tough to live up to those standards, especially in a new meta with a sub when it's your first time at a global.
And it's also wild, too, that we didn't even get a chance to talk about second. That's just how stacked all of these players are, folks. But you see that time ticking down. It's now time to jump into our second match of the day. And let's bring out your two teams. You
Luna
have
už
the
vyšla pro
Sentinels
všechny,
and
ne?
XLG.
Datum vydání 10. Tak jak je na tom vůbec Duna? $120k? OK, to není špatný.
Versus Sentinels.
All right, everyone, this is it. Sentinels, XLG. The Sentinels have it in them to defeat yet another team from the VCC China region. Is it going to happen here? Can XLG shock the world and be able to pick off a win against a prolific team, Kukuka, like the Sentinels?
That is one way to start a tournament and to have a global debut. But for the side of Sentinels, with G2 already losing today, this could be a terrible day for Americas.
And it's an interesting start. XLG will pick into Sunset. Historically, this has been a fantastic map for Sentinels. You look back at the previous times this was in the pool. This was always a home ground for them. But it's been, you know, kind of a question mark, right? XLG, that was not in the pool in China, so they're going to be coming with something fresh on Sunset.
Nesnášel ty vole to Sentinels na Lotusu. Oni si vždycky brali Lotus a prohrávali ho tak 60%, vole. Ale pikovali ho furt. To bylo hrozný. Já nevím, co vymýšlel ten jejich ten coach.
Ever the showman. Ever the showman.
Yeah.
Why not?
You look at this team, I mean,
he's in his element.
Those XLG players, they're stepping on a stage like this for the first time at this scale, away from home. And for Celsius, it's just another day. He's so comfortable in those positions, trying to get in the heads of those XLG players.
I still think it's wild that XLG picked Sentinels here, but you know what, though? There had to have been a reason. There had to have been a reason for them, confidence-wise. They felt like they can take them. I mean, obviously, they said it was the clout match, all that stuff, yada, yada, yada. But I also think, from a technical perspective, there might be something here that XLG could very well be keeping under the hood to maybe catch Sentinels off guard. Who knows what that could be? But of course, Sentinels, they have a lot of hype here. And what I'm worried about is if that hype begins to die down because XLG starts winning those rounds, how does that play out in the mental? How does that work out in the server? There's a lot of question marks here, Mimi.
I think that's where you see the growth from Sen, from Bangkok to now. Players like John, like Zelsis, really stepping up in those moments to keep the team in it.
Yeah, no, very good point there, right? What a turnaround that this team has had. And of course, they're no strangers to going up against Ascension squads and needing to deal with those teams. So this is, of course, going to be some familiar territory-ish, but at the same time, some confidence for Sentinels. They've been playing for such a long time here. But now Kukuka, XLG, this is it, right? Your debut on the stage, lots of hype, fans cheering you on. It's a lot of pressure.
So I have mixed thoughts about this Sunset. Like, I like the fact that they can come in with a surprise, that there is no way that Sentinels can prep for whatever is on the other side. But Sentinels have already had such good showings in the Sunset. So for them, this veto is looking so favorable. But at the beginning of the day, I thought the same for G2 and PaperX.
Yep.
Like, that veto
Exactly.
looked too good for G2. And it feels like on the other side of the world, things are looking better for the other teams.
It is interesting to consider XLG's position here. Most of the time when you're a debut team at a tournament, you have basically no pressure, right? Maybe you squeak in as a 3rd or 4th seed, but they won their region. And now they have their chance to live up to that, to do what EDG has done in the past. And looking at the composition here, seems like XLG, as they did in the past, kind of going with the meta. A double initiator look with Rarga on that Neon.
I mean, no surprises, very, very vanilla in that sense. I mean, I like the fact that Rarga is going to be in something that gives him the mobility. I believe he was the first waylay that we had in Tier 1 back in the moment, so the innovation is definitely there, but they're playing it pretty safe for what I expected them to do. I expected something like, I don't know, the deadlock
Yeah,
and whatnot.
right? Like-
I love the deadlock on this map.
Yeah, I was kind of perplexing. We saw the draft come in and the Omen map select, and we're like, oh yeah, you know, XLG. Wait, XLG picked Sunset. Wait, they're debuting on stage. This is a gamble here that XLG are running.
But I don't think there's a better comp to set Rarga up to shine in his opening match here. He gets to play Neon, which he is excellent on. He gets to have both initiators pumping a ton of utility into supporting him. This should be a really good map for him to start hot.
Sentinels waiting to lock in their final agents. Should be doing so in a minute here. Don't expect anything too crazy. But of course, anything is possible in Valorant, as I've come to learn over the years of covering this game. Pressure's on though. Sentinels just had to watch their brethren, the #1 seed G2, lose in that opening matchup. Can they bring it back for the Americas region?
But XLG had to watch the same thing. The Sen squad beat both of the CN teams back in the Swiss stage, trying to get revenge for the other teams from their region.
Narratives. we got it in spades over here.
Do you want one narrative?
Hit me
this
with
is
the
the first
narrative.
time that we're even going to see mid lane breach on an official. I know that we're speaking about setting players up and whatnot. Well, this is no YOU.
Uh-oh. All right, folks. We're all locked in and we're ready to go. Toronto, let me hear you as we send it over to your casters, my coworkers from Americas, Uber and Wyatt.
Sentinels have been on a bit of a side quest here in Toronto, folks. The Chinese team Gauntlet ends with the final boss, Xilai Gaming. But what's crazy about this is they just ascended. I mean, 6 months ago, these guys are playing in Tier 2.
It is absolutely mental. And to get here from China, 8-match win streak. That includes beating Wolves, beating Billy, beating EDG, the biggest favorite to be here, and now replacing them as the Titan of the region for their international debut. First showing for all of these guys.
Xilai Gaming, the last line of defense to redeem a whole region. It is the Wonder Kids from China versus the unredeemed Sentinels. Make some noise, Toronto. Let's get this one started.
Now, Sentinels just the other day did debut their Sunset against Billy. Manning it in their first game against Wolves. They have an all-time 75% win record on this map.
XLG on the defense here. Rarga gets flashed onto the corner, but Bang is waiting for him. Coconut chucked a little bit low, but sticks it. Hangs around and joins
Okay.
it. Makes quick work of Midi as well. He looks to try and swing off contacts with Coconut. Now it's Fever and Happyway. Neither particularly proximate to the site as Happyway steps up first, going on a bit of a solo endeavor.
Benke na Amenovi, jo.
Sidestep
Nice.
that relay Boltman, aware that Zekin is still on the corner, and eventually there's going to be a multi-swing coming his way. He has to know it. Viva still not
What?
Happyway's fighting for himself right now.
Viva slowly creeping through the link. No, going to double up. XLG opting to play together here. They know where Zekin is. We can't going to get that information towards the backside as they scale forward. Time dwindling a bit.
At some point, they've got to give us a tap. Here's Zelda's on the swing, but again, the spacing. Zekin finally arrives. Happyway got it to half this line on
Oh my god, už jsem myslel, že se čoukne. Ty pičo.
Picking up where he left off.
Yeah, that was a 20 for 8 that he dropped on Billy. The first time that Sen played Sunset in this tournament. He was lethal in that game. White hot right now.
This is how it plays out. A lot of individual moments in this pistol round.
It really comes down to John. I mean, you can see the
A poslední kulka, vole.
They are double faced into him, but they just can't connect the shots. And the IGL, who has also been individually in really good form, got a lot of multi-kills in that aforementioned Billy game, turns up already too.
Watch out for Xilai Gaming on these eco rounds, folks.
astonishingly effective when it comes to the Thrifties. BLG felt it firsthand, getting Thriftied 5 times over their last series against XLG.
Tagged. There's no free round against this team. Rarga, when he picks up that Sheriff, is so dangerous. But what I like from XLG on these rounds is that they play it basically like they still have a full buy, really strong fundamentals in these rounds, really great trades. He's also saw this late lurk in mid though, wants to find a timing with that stinger after the spike's been planted.
And he's heard the obvious rotate through Boba.
There.
Sen, no, Sheila Gaming are coming. What degree do they want to challenge forward to the outlaw?
Nice.
It's a tough ask. Zekin's able to cut them down and then happy to walk away. Son, Midi and Coconut. Sheriff for the latter. And Midi says, you know what? Yeah, I think we're probably pretty cooked here. John, though, would love an early rolling thunder. He's about to get more than he bargained for potentially on this swing out. And yes,
Škoda, že nedal to druhýho ještě.
Stinger away. Zelsa should be quick enough here to take the kill. Midi will be unaware, not on the line. That's XLG all turned into all dwarves.
Zekin with a couple nice little shots there with that outlaw backside, denying the re-entry. Rarga wanted to create some space, but was picked off before he could even really get through that choke point at Boba. John gets very close to this rolling thunder. It's looking good for Sen right now. And John has actually picked up that outlaw. They want Zekin with a rifle in his hand so he can be the space creator, get it deep, take strong duels, or rather, you know, with that strong weapon, take duels.
Sen might look to show presence early in mid. That's the standard top mid smoke thrown.
Kuka mentioned it on the desk. I'm interested to see how effective Midi is going to be in this Breach debut for him. Hasn't played it at all with Trace's team this year.
They're going to play off the fault line here. Sentinel starting to make their way on towards this B site. C's thrown in. Happyway is going to be forced to remain in this position. Paranoia, though, coming through from that Boba direction. There's XLG trying to set something up, but their anchors aren't ready to actually play off of that util. But there's Coconut and Happyway coming alive. And John brought down in seconds. Rarga finally joins the party, but his team has paved the way.
Tohle byla skurvená rychlovka.
That they all just swing out of that dark cover together. What is so impressive about this team, the fundamentals. Their players are rarely, if ever, caught making individual mistakes, overextending on their own. It's always a double face, a triple face. They love to push out of smokes together. Look at the way that they're able to support Happyway. Really beautiful stuff.
And in that sense, this team is nothing like Billy and Wolves.
Exactly. It's so juxtaposed to how wildly aggro those teams are. Not that they don't up the pace at times, but when you think about a guy like YZ who is just going to extend constantly, XLG are really the opposite.
XLG don't want to try and play for halls here. 2 players in alley. It's an easy position to smoke off. The one way that was a little bit intimidating for them. Happyway wanted to linger. Bank can obviously TP across the site. They've dealt with this tripway. Here comes a rolling thunder. This will force the players out of alley. Now XLG have lost that strong defensive position, the ability to set up a crossfire from Link as well.
Hoping that Zekin could have caught someone there, but XLG able to round the corner. Drone to reclear, should be pinging out. Bang, Paranoia, but just doesn't want to take this fight. Wants to cycle the dark cover first.
The refresh of that one way is massive. That is going to bleed some more clock, but Rarga is already nipping at the heels, starting to make his way up from main. Narrate knows the pressure's coming. Turns the flash, and 3 players from XLG, 4 in fact, set up. And Zekin is here to move them down. One more for the Blood God, he says.
Nice.
Absolutely stunning. The form of Zekin from that playoff run in Americas to qualify into this tournament has been phenomenal. Already 9 kills on the board. Perfect timing. XLG so distracted there. So distracted by Narrate to their left.
Nice round, boys. Good job. That rolling thunder to deny alley away from the defenders really hurts them. They've got to put all their eggs in the basket of the push-off Link.
Já nevím proč, ale mě ten Zelsis je strašně nepříjemný.
They would go down early, win an eco, and then come right back barreling into the game. Got a few sheriffs here. Rarga with that ghost. They want to go for a push down A, take a little space.
Jakože že někdy taž dělá na sílu. Ty reakce a všechno.
And they'll always be looking to double or triple up. even in this sort of pistol round. Those XLG fundamentals have been instrumental in turning them from a 5th, 6th place team in kickoff to by far the #1 seed. Only dropping maps and a cheeky series to BLG. Coconut here is caught by the fault line.
Where are you?
Now it'll slowly scale into that area given up.
There.
It was after that.
Kdyby nehodil tu
BLG lost that they go on an 8.
kouli, tak by ho stihl.
Again, Vivo with the first shot, second and a little bit of trouble. But John's there to support.
Nice, ty vole.
Cleans up those two anchors in market. Sight now vacant. Throwing the plant over to Narrate. That's going to get him the Nightfall.
That's the kind of training Sentinels had to have into the site like this. No free rounds, no clean rounds against XLG. Zekken will be waiting on this now. Coconut sets up, of course, with a smoke of it all to be main. That does leave Zekken as the sole player in the site. Just a little bit of a shoulder pick there. Raga not in a position to follow.
Nice.
Okay. Headlong into that one he goes, but Zekken wants a little more. Get away! 10 health in a dream. Of course, that overdrive develops. Fast lane, you think you know, somehow Mini's just picked his spot perfectly.
The headshot.
Holy shit.
It didn't have to be, really, did it?
No, that's some ridiculous overkill. Mini just going to fall to the spike here. Sen will be very content to get out of this round, only dropping a couple weapons. Economy bolstered at this point.
Toho sundali jako jednou ranou do toho smoku, nebo... Když bych hodně věděl, to je dobrý, jo. Asi slyšíš ho, no, ale i tak.
That is exactly what you need from Sentinels. He was really disappointed, Zekken. In Omen game on Icebox, he just felt like, you know, he was even asked, like, you know, would Tens be proud of you? And he's like, I don't think so. I wasn't proud of it at all. But he feels really, really good about the rest of that series and can't blame him. Fantastic Neon play so far on this Sunset map.
Timeout called by Coach Havoya, who's really been able to, you know, in tandem with Viva IGL, install such a great system that has created a very consistent XLG team in their region. See what they opt to do out of this. They've gotten a few ultimates to their name as well when we head back into the game.
This team really benefited from Fracture being in the map pool. They really made it their own throughout their run in Stage 1 in China. So, you know, Coach Havoya's had to pivot them into adopting the Sunset play. Glad to see them pick it here. First cab off the ranks, so to speak. And we're still looking to see how Midi is, you know, integrated into this team. It's tough, obviously, to have to make a player adjustment before a big event. You can see the quality on this XLG roster is there.
It is bold of them to pick this map into Sentinels. It was bold of them to pick Sentinels as their opponent.
I mean, I think they were felt like
they
were honor bound to pick Sentinels. Their entire region would demand it.
Midi ready with this fault line over towards the A side. Crossfire set up by the two players with him. That's
Ještě není vedro, ale už to začíná. Budu zase hotovej, ty vole. Že v neděli má být před 30, no? Nice.
XLG are just cut down. A fertile harvest for Sentinels as they walk into an A side bereft of defenders.
30 má být přesně v neděli. Ty kokos.
Trying to jiggle out just a bit, picked off by Zekken and Narrate by covering both of those angles. At the moment, taking a duel against Zekken is just a death wish. He is in prime form. This has been a Sentinels that are still really existing under the shadow of the success of last year's roster. Like you mentioned, still in the press conferences, being asked about Tens and Saucy.
Yeah, literally, like, what would Saucy think of this performance? Would Tens be proud of you? Still, these old legends of the past are being brought up compared to the current roster. And I do think, I mentioned unredeemed at the start of this game, I do think that a lot of fans are still unsure if they're back on board after the disaster in Bangkok. And you could even suggest, like, what would it take to get people back?
Ten Bangkok jsem viděl, no, to bylo hrozný. To strašně mě nasralo, že ten skončil, to bylo.
feel like we're going to be talking about him all game now that he's up to, well, a nice little 13-2. XLG have the 2 rifles they've carried over, picking up a couple of light weapons for this half buy. Still so many ultimates to play with. And I'm surprised even that Rarga hasn't thrown that rifle to someone else and just to use the overdrive late.
I must wait a moment. We kind of teased at it a little bit early, just how dangerous XLG have been on rounds like this in our home region. So far, Sentinels have respected them, focused on their own protocols to clear some of these more dangerous parts of the map, like that multi-push into market, for example. It's quite clear they are extending every necessary ounce of respect to their opponents, the #1 seed from China.
Playing quite passive at the moment. They were waiting out any aggression that would come towards A main. Narrates Prowler re-clears. Zelsis just holds down the main. Nightfall is going to come through the site. A second extending through elbow. Second Prowler used to clear all of this out, make it safe for him to get right into this site, take the space for the team.
Oh, one of my vyšel.
Reluctantly gave up elbow as U2 came in wide, but he never really left.
A dal 2 rychlé hlavy, no to mě posere.
Against Bang, who was trying to get through that one-way dark cover. Look at Zelsis on absolutely mad flank. He was just chilling in B main. And now John looks like he wants to get out of
30
dodge
seconds
from
left. Jordan, come on. Into spawn he goes. Coconut with only a sheriff. And he's got a sense that Zelsis could be somewhere close by. Perhaps not that close.
Tady to jsem nikdy nepochopil, kámo.
John holding it down. Time is short. They've got to get John out of this.
Oh.
And he's brought down by Mini. Zelsis would have to try and salvage. He needs to find Rarga, but he's run off. There's no chance for sending this round.
He's just on the run.
Škoda, že JunQT jako typu. Jak by to měli, no.
Operating slowly, a little hesitant to cross. And by that time, XLG have already began the rotate towards that B site. And Rarga just heads up play. I'm gonna just run. There's no way that Zelsis can get this plant down in time.
Oh, I love that, yeah. Happyway had one of the only 2
bitch.
rifles all around by XLG, and there was a ton of util to force him out of bed, right? Relay Bolt, there was a Prowler. He hung around in the dark cover and then found a bizarre moment just to spring back in.
That instant snap onto the second, milliseconds before getting traded out. Same from Happyway.
That is a wild TP forward from Coconut. Pinged out though, they've heard it. Coconut by no means is committed here, but look at XLG fighting for mid. They've got Rarga up there in the middle as well. Paranoia, Bango has got around a bit of a timing that XLG aren't ready for.
Okay.
By what they crumble. Mini's able to get 2 on the round, but Happyway's going to fight for his damn life. And I'm sorry, are we not interested in the extremities of the map anymore?
Sen are just winning so many of these crucial duels. Everyone from XLG swinging out, but it's awkward when there aren't really eyes on tiles. Those players in market did not have the angle for a close peek. And so this is just so free for Bang.
Yeah, he's ahead of the Paranoia that Coconut throws out. They don't expect him to be so far forward. And he's there like a second or so early.
Right there. Sen have consistently kept the economy broken for XLG. Second feigning some presence towards A main. Popping that fast lane, jumping about.
Go, go, go.
In the meantime, down mid, Rarga taking a lot of space with that hero rifle. Look at him all the way down tiles. He just sent it. Sen now pivoting into B main, break the cam. They want to accelerate off the back of this. There's no one to really anchor here for XLG. Maybe Midi can hit another lucky headshot with a Sheriff through smoke, but it does not seem likely at all.
I mean, look at John. He's also got this rolling thunder to punish a potential flood back in from these Sheriffs. Sen clearly realized the time for subtlety is well and truly over. Al Drone Jekin wants to get ahead, but this is a little bit dangerous. He's able to back off the line. Here comes a rolling thunder. Narrate trying to get to a safer spot. Zekin taken down. Odorod's marker was where the thunder went. And XLG now with these Sheriffs.
On tam nedal nikoho to ulti, no, ty vole. Oh.
Rarga gets on out there, but Bang steps up for 3. Make it 4. And Viva. Sideline cut off. No steps.
Oh, they say ace.
And Bang is waiting for his just desserts. Not quite the
Oh.
Viva's recovered rifle goes to work. Sen have still made it a 5.
Moc se chtěl, vole.
Sen have done an excellent job at stopping XLG in the choke points where they're trying to get back into the site. That Hunter's Fury just did not net any value. Bang, steadfast. Some attention being drawn away. Narrate fighting close to. Really well done. XLG have had no opportunity to get back in on these retake attempts.
An opportunity here though, Wyatt. They've got Raga over at the A side early. So might look to take some real estate off the rip.
The intentions to just play off of that standard one-way dark cover being thrown by Coconut.
He sees the Omen.
Now this time over on that B site, if Sentinels execute in here, there are 2 kill trips that Happyway wants to play off after Shock forces out the cage so he can safely cross to back. Site has a great cam for retake potential.
It's like Coconut just made use of from the shadows for information, cancelled it and is back at A.
There's going to be a push down mid from XLG. That drone got so deep. Look at Raga.
Oh,
look at Midi.
Second at least knows Midi's up in mid. Have to assume that Raga is close by. They know they haven't wrapped because that trapwire is still intact. This timing is important. Now they know Raga has pushed up tiles. Bang went for info himself with that Omen ultimate now. Sentinels have to make a decision. Back to B seems to be the call.
Like this from XLG, they get that pick and they immediately get out of dodge, ready to play for this retake. Sentinels, they want to opt to get into a B split. Again, the tripwire's still here, going to be very dangerous. Happyway wants to anchor backside.
Raga coming from the top of the map, he has the timing, he can get into mid. Bedekin has already gone to work on the defenders. There's Raga turning up. Found a moment to get top mid, dealt with Celsius and then followed through.
Oh, to byla škoda.
But a terrifying Russian duelist.
What around love.
Nějak nevěděli, co mají dělat, ty vole, mi přišlo. Že se nemohli pořádně rozhodnout.
And then retreating to play together. When it comes to this site retake, second adding more to the board, gets to 17, but even that
Jo, ono zabil takhle, jo.
enough. Raga coming to life. Happyway still able to maintain control of backside throughout everything.
I'm out of here.
XLG can definitely hang, but they've got a bit of a deficit to work on now. Sen definitely in a position to buy for this round at least. This time they show a little bit towards A, where XLG characteristically make use of Raga to stave any push off.
Shadows traveling. Dark cover is going to be thrown top hit, but there's a drone re-clear. No, I do believe it was broken. Coconut wants to get the info here. He's going to be stunned up, but second can't go in too fast. Dry peeks that. He is punished for his aggression, his recklessness even.
Yeah, with Coconut already forcing back, that doesn't really feel like XLG.
Viva wants to get here, only has the Sheriff, and now Sen opt to just take their time. Still a minute on the clock, no reason to force things. Again, dark cover just used to obscure the view from top mid. Happyway's going to need to go off. Tight angle connects.
By byl hodně nasranej, byl být zase sem.
That duo ready to defend. But look at the insert from Zekin all the way towards elbow.
Door closed over towards market side. Coconut not spotted on that flank. It's going to be John. He'll have used all his hands.
Oh my god.
Spike as well. Now he can refresh the one way. Paranoia comes in. Sen can't really afford to respect that. They've got to go for it. Zekin doubles back. At least deals with the Omen that gummed up the works. Now Stinger Sheriff and proper rifle for XLG, but Zekin is waiting again at box.
Jo, tam byli úplně za sebou, ty píče, to byla škoda. Nice.
Cosmetic stun, apparently the fault line is. And this is more time. Narrate's now been able to join the rest of Sentinels. Shilai Gaming. I've got Viva here trying to shock dart his way on out. Bang! Caught by that one. A whole 46 points of health stripped off of him, and now it's down to Narrate and Zekin, the ladder, who's just too sharp. 3 for the round, and Happyway, as brilliant as he's been, he's going to have to bring a world-beating performance to deal with this. Got their positioning broken. 5 health for Happyway. Narrate needs to get in here, and he should be able to finish the job. Sentinels keep it a 5-round lead.
Who's but a moment away from being able to get a shot off with that Phantom. Perfect timing from Narrate. Zekin is simply inexorable on this map. 20 for 6. We're still in the first half. Come on. He is unreal right now. And there was a little timing mishap from XLG that was middies.
Právě hodně dobře, no, Zekant, vole. Zvedal je na tu druhou polovinu.
Look at it. That was good. But Midi swung just a moment before it actually connected to the wall, was fired off.
We got to contrast this with the starts for Sentinels in their last two games, Wyatt. They started slow. When questioned about it, Kaplan said it's been different each time, the reasoning for it. He really felt it was important that the boys were energetic for the first map, for the first showing on stage. It looks like today, whatever they've done differently has worked.
The highest contrast is the Wolves game, where Sen could simply not win any duels. They're winning a couple right now. Second is unstoppable. Sentinels taking some control of mid. Dark cover, so they have safety on the cross. Trip is going to get this information for Happy Way.
Top mid play.
I mean, he just might want to swing. Yeah, this Trip would have to be broken, though. That'll give up the game. And Second wants to go through. He wants to split this B side from 3 angles.
Relay ball doesn't connect on anyone, and he's not happy. Not ready for Happy Way to be tucked in on that corner.
That was a cosmetic stun if I've ever seen one. Rogo wants to get into backside. He wants to anchor Happy Way duo. The 2 stars of XLG, the best aimers here to anchor.
Oh, okay, that's good. Happy Way at least able to make the trade. Normally Raga's used to being set up by Happy Way, but here they're going to have to go with solo. Delta's around the cyber cage. Narrate was able to get board tight and push up the right. And he is a more tight swing in theory coming out from Marker, but they don't respect John's position. Even in numbers,
Nice.
has to step up to the stage. And it's a big
Oh my god.
fall far from the tree. In fact, right on the noggin of John.
Kdyby mu vykoukl s ním, no, to píčo.
The trade attempts are going completely awry for XLG, but Coconut clutches up to get them 4 on the board. As you mentioned, Sentinels here getting the exact contrast of the beginning against the other 2 teams from China. They are white hot. Second is looking like
A dobrá animace to vole. A finish.
Good start, yes, but it's about how you close here in Masters Toronto. We're going to second half of Sunset coming at you on the other side of this quick break.
To už je halftime. Má jaký skurveně rychlý, ne? The fuck? Není mrtvá hra. Ještě ne. Ani nebude, vole. Však to platí Riot. A jen tak nechcípne. Kolik na to kouká lidí? Máš 29 000, 30 000 na Afiku. A že jo, pak máš, vole, Tarika, co máš 60, 58. Máš Tenze, který má 13,5. A plno dalších, že jo, restreamů. Už je major v CSku. No to jo, no, oni tam, tady to se chytlo nějak divně, ty vole. Ale čas podle mě je stejný. I minulý jako to Masters byly podobný čas. Pokud se nemýlím. A tak ono to stejně, že jo. Oni, ta komunita je stejně rozdělená, jako málo kdy je, vole, málo kdo se najde, jako že je hráč CSK i Valorantu. Většinou ty hráče zajímá buď to, nebo to. Že si nemyslím, že si stejně lezou jako do výběru. Do views. Já fikuje 79 a Ohne má 47. On hraje ještě Liquid, jo. Mají o 150 víc, no. To 50k. Simple back. Já jsem viděl, no, to video. Vlastně mu ten retirement dlouho nevydržel, vole. Jsem zvědavý, jestli ten se vrátí. On podle mě odešel kvůli i té frajerce. Že se jako oni musí starat a tak aby jako nestresoval.
As the second half begins, Shakhtar to break a potential trip, but it's not there. To break another potential trip in the market, that's also not there. It's just a cam watching, which Raga will delete.
But I like this early round activity for XLG, just trying to take this Sentinel util off the map.
Look at this on the opposite side of the map. Happyway is
Myslím, že ne. On, ten Heretics dostali. Fratek tam jsou, no, budou hrát zítra. Ale pro bracket nevím, no. Myslím, že Heretics vypadli úplně. Pokud se nepletu. Takže jediný, kdo tam je, jak je Fratek. Tady ty neznám, vole. To není EU, ne. Indonésia. China.
Second hoping an opportunity might present itself. But XLG disciplined in this post plant.
Midi has a full kit to play with in this post plant. Just
To
ready
nějak
to
nemocnej. Leo byl borec, no.
Shock already getting drawn out now. Relay bolt thrown on the side. It's Happyway, the one who set things up. But all of a sudden, Sentinel's back in with numbers. Midi trying to hold it down. Has two flashes to work with. And
A on i ten.
surely you can do something with this, but instead, Narrate just ruins him. John taking
A on už tam není ty vole rok. Ty píčo, oni prohráli.
He's just like that, so late coming back to the site.
Jo, on má nějaký obrovský problémy, no. A on byl brutální borec. Ale on se pořádně jako neví, no, jakoby, co s ním jako reálně doopravdy je. To ani nevím, že odešel Derka.
There are some smiles too.
Close one though. Sentinels really in a commanding position before Raga got to them.
Yeah, so peaceful. Okay.
Not stunned up enough to prevent him from letting loose these balls with the Spectre. Sentinels feed themselves into the wood chipper. Making for awful good fertilizer out there in LA.
That was a wave of utility, a nice trap setup from Sen, but simply not the weaponry to capitalize off of that effort. Zelsis all alone and with little to no hope.
To je Zelsis, bylo tak cípne, to je jedno.
XLG do a great job absorbing those swings. Even stunned up, dealing with Zekin, who was sliding his way.
A jo, ty vole, ale on tam fakt reálně pořád je napsaný, to je zajímavý.
But it's not enough to do anything. Just a bit of damage to Midi. This is exactly what XLG need to get back into this half. They know they're right back in the mix.
2024, no, před rokem. 1.6. poslední hra. Neznám, tak něco říká. Ale to je ten, jenom mě vzali Amíka, jo. Energy, ok. Dvala jedou bomby. 2-0-2-1, 2-0-3-0.
Avert your eyes, Cubit, if you're squeamish. Look away. Prime opportunity here for a bonus round pickup from XLG. This buy is pretty solid with a couple fully upgraded rifles.
Já to vím, no, že hrál poslední hry nemocnej, no. Mu fakt jako bylo hrozně. Ale jako zajímavý, že fakt prostě na rok do kundy. Víš, jako, že fakt prostě na rok, ty vole. Jak hraje duelistu? Já jsem možná viděl nějakou hru, ty vole. S tou novou roster. A nejsem si jistý, ale úplně.
Are pretty easy to break now. You don't have to commit a paint shells or aftershock. The very old version of Sunset.
Už to je 6-8, jo.
Out by Happyway and now Zelsis Has to fear a little bit, though that cam is going to cover the full cross. The one he's got thrown up in market is XLG, taking their time, peeling away from A, working into mid.
Zekin likely going to be in one scenario in a moment.
Cam broken. Happy Way working his way into B.
I like that.
Vole, málem ho měl.
The timing isn't quite line up. Celsius realizes, yes, yep, Happy Way is here, as always. Able to get the better of him. Winning that individual fight out is huge. And this would be a pretty strong conversion of the buy round for Sentinels getting back into this half.
Nice.
Beaver's brought down. 4 rifles carried into round 16.
That's clean stuff. Zekin made a nice rotate there to pick up the double face with Zelsus backside. Look at the monsters. Might happen with this.
Já vůbec ten e-sport CSK jako nesleduju. A vím jako, že asi bude zábavnější, no. Protože fanoušci si tam můžou dělat, co chtějí, že jo. Jsou tam oni se můžou vole nadávat mezi sebou a tak. Je to takový víc free, no. Protože strašně sere, že to Riot jako omezil. Že v tom Valorantu si nemůže ani prdnout.
Recon Bolt not exactly having the intended effect.
Jo. To nedávno viděl, teď nevím, jaký to týmy byly, ty vole, ale jak se nadávali, to byla brutálka. Ale za boha nevím, ty, co to bylo za tým, co to bylo 2 za týmy.
Into elbow, but it looks like Sentinels want to go for the re-clear. The Prowler does connect, but they don't want to overpush this.
This mid pivot for Sentinels is probably expected, but maybe a little earlier than otherwise. Didn't think it would come.
Look at how futile they just threw at Coconut to get him out of there. Aftershock, multiple Prowlers.
Raga. Relay bolt thrown to at least give Zekin a safe retreat. Narrate here. Might have an opportunity.
Tak on už taky musí mít jako v píči.
Got it was stunned up briefly by the relay bolt. You really declawed XLG with that pick off on the Neon. Beaver very patient on this line, but Zelsus doesn't give him enough leg.
Ty vole, to netrefil, jo. Že o něm celou dobu věděl.
Remember, Narek is in this A side. He's in the A side, creeping up with the planter. What a timing!
Nice.
Sentinels looking dynamic here.
Jo, Apex. Jo, to byl on. To byl určitě on, jo, Apex, jo. A pak ještě ten druhý, jak tam břval, že musíš klikat. Okay.
Back when Sentinels had that tragic showing at Bangkok early in the year, he was so focused on his individual play, and it makes sense. When he was in EU, he was much more of a star with K-Corp, but on Sen,
To včera řval na Simple taky, že musí klikat.
But he still picks his moments. He still wants to find the moments to step up, but he's not forcing it.
He always talks about how stronger the voices are on this Sentinels team. Finding your niche a bit harder. It's going to be a fast hit over towards the A side of the map, though. Wide second.
A Simple hraje za koho teďka?
John is able to finish the job. The classic 1-2 punch. As the outlaw rings out, it's narrate again. Always in an awkward spot.
Okay.
All of XLG now just stuck in elbow. The entire Sentinels team here. You can always expect Zekin to have the outlaw on hand on one of these rounds where the opposing team has a depleted economy.
Face teď dobrý. Jsou dobrý.
Get into the site. There is none of that breach.
A nejsou moc dobrý.
Attackers to play off of, and only 2 stingers. And a team on defense that is respecting them enough to hold these lines, not good chasing kills.
Midi is just hoping that someone may overextend and push into elbow, but it's simply not going to be the case. The hope for XLG is
Spirit jako takový jako e-sportový tým mi vůbec neříká to, což poprvé.
Ultimates to work with, however, it's likely going to be the exact same case for Sen. Midi dealt with halfway. Now spotted out, and it's only a matter of time.
Ruská orga.
Love to get involved, and that's going to get him the rolling.
6-11, let's go.
Next round, looking to be explosive.
And to be clear, this of course is XLG's map pick. The map that we don't really see anything of them prior, and have just started to see Sentinels pick this map themselves after banning it in their first game in Toronto.
That was a ridiculous first kill from John. Just spam through the box and caught a headshot on Rarga. That is...
Jo, to je ten sniper, ne? To je on? Myslíš toho? Má dlouhý vlasy.
In that same position. Timeout called here by XLG. You can see some frustration starting to bubble forth from Havoya. Realizing that, yes, Lotus is...
Ale spíš rifle. Aha, OK. Já myslím, že hraje snipu právě. A to je ten nejmladší hráč, ne?
And that's really touching on one of the criticisms that has been levied against XLG during this run is that they're too reliant on Rarga and play. And of course the team were displaying fantastic team play, great fundamentals and a consistency that the other teams
A musím potom otevřít bedničky, ty vole, na CSku. A ty nový bedny.
Early on is a case of Happyway and Rarga being the two that are really doing the heavy lifting. We'd love to see the other three get involved. Coconut had that clutch, but
Je ta CS2 přijde úplně na píču. Ale úplně na píču, co se týče střílení. To je tak random. To kolikrát vystřelíš a ono to vystřelí úplně někde jinde. To je úplně random hra, ty vole. To CSko bylo hlavně o tom gameplay, ale teď mi to přijde, že fakt jenom naběhneš, vystřelíš a najednou vole, dva jsou mrtví. Zase co koupili Falcon ze Spirit Academy. Okay. Ty píčo, ve 14 nebo 15 letech si zahrát e-sport na vysoké úrovni. Jako super. Odehrál 2 roky. Já jsem to hrál nedávno právě, jak jsem si kupoval ten jejich Battle Pass, nebo co to je, abych měl ty bedny. A to je hrozný. Mně se CSko předtím ještě jako docela líbilo. To první, že to CSGO jako 1. Z toho důvodu, že fakt to bylo jako gameplay. Tu malou ho měl. Gameplay jako gunplay teda. Ale ta dvojka, to je hrozný. Mně přijde fakt jako, že tam je nějaký desync, vole, na těch serverech nebo něco, já nevím, jako, ale fakt prostě, kolikrát si jdeš a najednou ti vystřelí tamhle takhle, vole, do rohu ta střela a někoho si zabil, vole. To je příšerný. 90 headshot. To je dobrý, to vole.
Using all of it as well. Nightfall expended now by Sentinels. Narrate not quite ready to get up on this line. Good damage though through the wall, and Zeltis has come to the rescue. Now the Fate can keep moving. Raga is here in.
Jakože jedna bedna 90 nebo do... Jo. Okay. Jedna bedna. To je hodně dobrý, to bylo. 70 headshot. Jaká bedna? Já se jim, který jsou. Nice.
XLG just could not extract enough value out of the Rolling Thunder and the Hunter's Fury combo
99.
that they sent out towards Link. Even stoned up. There it was launched into the air. I thought spotted, but spam never came through. Coconut just fully isolated, wrapped by the flanking Zelsis, encircled, dealt with.
Je docela sad, že v tom Valorantu není jako ten team hit. Ty můžeš zabít teammate spelem, ale nemůžeš zabít střelou. No. By se podle mě pak hrála úplně jinak ta hra.
Zelsis looking a little bit stranded, but do they check this corner? Absolutely not! A freebie for Zelsis there as Raga deals with it, but it's electrified play from Zeki!
OK, tak to bylo easy. A kolik skončil Zeki, ne? 23-10.
XLG on the back foot the entire time. They were getting constantly ecoed. They look a bit out of sorts, perhaps a little nervous on their debut, but with Lotus up next, maybe they can bounce back.
401 ACS, 27 kills for Zek in a masterclass on Sunset. We're going to step away with XGB and the Atlas Test are going to break down our first match.
Zabroken sračka. Když ji necháš rozjet, tak jo, no. Tady mi taky pauzu.
Cut from a different cloth with the
No
way
to
that
mě
they've
poser.
recovered so far in this elimination best of 3.
Kdo hraje?
Living
Mouse
up to
versus
everything that he
Liquid.
said in the interview, which is really nice to see. Confidence looks right, his impact. He's bringing the energy he said he was missing last time. For Liquid, I'll say, even though it's 3 rounds, I did see a lot of good variety, a lot of good different tempo changes, good ideas, but the fragging was just not there. It's actually
13-3 prohráli.
That's not what I expected,
Vítězství.
especially coming into Dust.
Měli 30 vítězství, jo. A jsou 12. Já počkej, to není Vitality the Face, vole, jasně. Oni měli 30 vítězství, to si se posral, ne?
4v5 disadvantage for Liquid to try to have to fight against.
Tady to je dobrý, to se mi líbí, jak tam vidíš ty hráče, to je super. 3 majors, jo, teď útočíme se tady. A všechny ty 3 majory, co vyhráli, hrajou pořád ve stejným týmem, nebo nějaký hráči s týma hráčema, nebo některý hráči si to měnili?
And then Ultimate and Shuhei try to bring it all back themselves, but now Shuhei down to 5 HP, and that catwalk up just gets them. We don't get to see how Naf ends up falling with no kills there, but we know he had what could have been a very well-timed flank.
Ale mají tam nějak ticho, ne, vole?
To fuck? Or he ran and then Spinks turned around. It was a bit suspicious of somebody flanking in the first
To
place.
zavření v nějaký tým, nebo jako...
Gotta get those kills, so...
Kde jsou lidi ještě?
Is the one where it comes down to like, are they shooting well enough? Because obviously, at the tier of competition and even a tier below, as we've seen at this event,
Tak ve Valorantu máš vždycky lidi, vole, jedno jestli to je, vole, stage 1, vole, nebo 10, 15.
Get some immense grenade damage there, out on the field. What was that? Sure. Torsi and Brolin end up getting whittled down real low. Jimmy's right behind him with the same early damage, so it's not a horrible start to the round from Liquid.
That's pretty good.
Svý systém, co to znamená?
A test here for Brolin to organize people in the correct way. B could definitely be an answer, especially now they're past AGs. We're talking about no smoke grenades to hold off B site. It really begs a stack out of Liquid, but they're pretty far away from that
Liquid 3, jo.
Well, MP9's in a good spot.
10.
5-7 right down beneath it. Not the worst holds, considering low health on all the others.
Go.
Twist comes out with the double 5-7 headshot, AK in hand. Jimmy tries to recover it on long, and Naf's gonna flank him. Another chance for Naf to get a kill on a low health player, and he'll tap him out. This is looking good for Liquid. But Brolin's got a bit of space here. It's to be said that the Liquid players are still disjointed. But this hyper passive angle out of ultimate should be the end and will be. So majority alive with 2 AKs picked up as well here from Liquid. Much needed round, we'll call it.
Much needed rounds, good shots. I mean, the setup's solid here, especially considering they only had 2 in B. Would have been very scary. Spinks was super careful about his shoulder peaks as well. And he's not been an issue, so let's see if Liquid can find some leverage.
To není špatný systém. To není špatný systém.
I'm thinking that early damage last round was actually an ultimate scout collateral, or just scout shots through the doors.
Je to ještě jenom BO1, jo.
The players were stacked up top middle. I don't see the way that anybody would have chucked a nade out there. So I think I've gotten to the bottom of it. Roland hitting with the scout, gets a Galil upgrade here for round 15.
Okay.
A little awkward as that Molly doesn't tag Xertion, so Twist, he's going to take a look, but he doesn't get punished. Clean headshot. And it looks like the test will come to the 2 guys who I feel like we've seen some of the weaker moments from earlier this game, and Nertz and Naf will have to work together. It's a great 5-7 shot last round. But that's been the main highlight.
Naf doesn't let him know. Lets them go instead. That's still Torsi standing up in the tunnels with bomb.
They leave mid to allow Shuhei to come in on the long flank, and he's made good time.
He's not going to see anything immediately, but luckily for them, Nerds will
LeBron
confirm they're out there,
James
and
go.
Shuhei peels Jimmy off the round. Scout shot, though, right between Naf's eyes. He's not going to be feeling any better about the way this game's going on. You know, the hold's going great in middle. You think, all right, let me just end this round real, and the scout shot connects. So, God, I hope Naf's got that extra bit of resilience in him today. He is statistically having his worst major at the moment that he has had in the last decade of playing majors.
As a Canadian, how can you just say that?
It hurts me. It does hurt me. But it's got to be said.
I want you to sound
Ona jenom jako fakt to CS musíš hrát vole na tom, no, na Faceitu. Nebo něčem takovým, co má lepší servery, než na tom základním. Protože ty servery jsou hrozný. Fakt úplně ten gameplay, úplně to kurví, ten server.
Let's just talk about something else.
Okay.
Počkej, Squadron hraje to, jo, to Liberty.
Side jump. As it looks like
Ah,
disaster.
okay, komentuje.
Twist is looking sharp, yes. We've always got at least one Canadian going. The king of Kelowna. Sorry, Ocean.
He'd let you say that. Flash for long, and Shui eats it. Tries to get back into them, and they line up wonderfully. Ton of damage offered over by Shuhei here versus these unarmored pistols. These are just the motions of the ocean that Liquid have to go through to make this comeback happen. Only trailing by 4 rounds now.
Obviously, Nafly is a lifelong stoic, so you can never tell if he's happy or sad. If he had 25 kills or if he has the 6 or whatever he has now, he'd always look like this.
Jo, tak ono to je, no. Já čekám na novou ligu, až bude v P2. Až tam přidají Rogunu. Já jsem zkoušel to, myslím, že toho Rangera, nebo koho jsem to zkoušel, to nejsem jistý. A mě to nebaví, no, já potřebuji hrát Rogunu. A ty další klasy, co tam jsou, tak mě nelákají vůbec. To jak tam přijeli jako nedávno toho, vole, oštěpaře nebo spíraře teda. To mě vůbec neláká. Takže já čekám na novou sezónu. Která by asi měla být další měsíc, myslím. Myslím, že tady ta byla v dubnu, pokud se nemýlím.
But this looks like it's taking shape as a B split for Meows.
They were just starting to feel the groove of the game, but Shuhei's just there. It is. I was worried.
Hey, which guy?
Never mind. I thought he was going to start pushing those doors. Now that they hear the mid utility. What's the move here? Because you're just banking on Naf, who's 3-12, to hold this B site entirely alone. That is what Liquid are signing him up for. All the utility in the world to tell them that this is coming, and he just has to play inside of the smoke. An absolute Hail Mary. He will emerge and get snapped on by Jimmy.
Většinou to jsou 3 měsíce. Takže červenec, srpen by to mohlo být další season. S novýma klásama. Snad s Rogunou. A první hrál Liče. První jsem hrál Liče a potom jsem hrál... To mě přestalo bavit docela rychle, tak jsem potom přešel na toho Rangera. Když jsem ty mapy, já jsem už moc nechápal. No, tam to teprve právě začíná. Já jsem to ani nedohrál do toho endgameu. Protože já jsem zkoušel ty dvě... Já jsem hlavně toho Rangera hrál jinak. Já jsem Rangera nehrál jakoby s tím bowem, ale já jsem ho hrál jako s X-bowem. Že máš takovou tu brokovnici, že jo, jakoby. Myslel jsem si, že mě to bude bavit, chvilku mě to bavilo, ale pak mě to přestalo úplně bavit, no. Jsou to na to vysvětlé. Ale třeba jak jsem hrál ten... předtím, jak se jmenuje?
He was alone, and he had 2 things to watch, so it's a head scratcher.
Jak se jmenuje, vole? Kde to je? 2 K, 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 2 K Jo, Last Epoch. Tak tam jsem hrál toho. Tam jsem hrál... tam jsem hrál... Soul? Ne, Runemaster. A ten byl super, kámo, Runemaster. To se mi strašně líbilo ten gameplay, protože ty jsi dělal jako v Tekkenu, víš, jako kombinace. Jo, že si dal třeba, já nevím, oheň, voda a ono to udělalo nějaký spell. Pak si měl, já nevím, třeba si dal voda, oheň, udělalo to úplně něco jiného a tak podobně. Bylo super. Ale teď, jak vyšla ta nová sezóna, ta Season 2, tak to jsem už nehrál, no. Už jsem... Potom, co jsem hrál po E2, tak už mě ten Last Epoch nalákal, no. Ale jako je to pořád dobrá hra. Tam byla klása na ten krátký bow. Jo, tam je klása na krátký bow, ale já jsem viděl nějaký build, jak týpek hrál Rangera, ale hrál jako krátký bow právě. A tak ono to je pořád v betě, po E2. Je pořád předběžný přístup. Ale to nevyšlo celý ještě. No. Ne, tam nejsou pořád všechny klasy, že jo? Když si dáš ten... Oni zase změnili ten web, ty vole, kokoti. No vidíš, tak není tohle. Chybí 5 klas. 5 klas chybí. Templář, Marauder, Gladiátor, Druid a Assassin. Proti jak blázen. Já, tak ono to je jako to, že jo, ty action RPGs mají jako to. Mě to taky jako nebaví z toho důvodu, nebo nebaví mě to tolik z toho důvodu, jak jsi sám říkal. Že pak to jedeš jako od znova jak kokot, jo, začne nová sezóna, zakládáš novou postavu a jedeš od znova. A pořád takhle dokola. Začne nová sezóna, zakládáš novou postavu, celá story, všechno od znova, že jo, a furt dokola. Ale jako, že si to zahraju třeba jednou za čas, tak osobně mě to jako, na to chvilku mě to baví. A ta hra stojí hovno. Když to koupíš jenom jednou. A hlavně za to, jak ty to koupíš, to polečko je skurveně dobrý v tady tom. Že ty to koupíš tu hru a ty vlastně za tu cenu dostaneš jako premium currency, za kterou by si, jakoby, když by si použil, já nevím, kolik to stojí, jestli to třeba koupíš, jestli to třeba stojí 40 euro, tak prostě dostaneš i premium currency v hodnotě 40 euro, že jo, v té hře. Že jakoby ta hra nestojí nic. Takže ty si pak můžeš koupit i steště a ty píčoviny rovnou. Já čekám na to Assassina, no. Čekám na to Assassina. A potom se chci jakoby na to víc podívat na tu hru, no. Protože taky tomu nerozumím ani hovno, že jo. Po jedničku jsem nehrál, protože to je těžká úplně, vole, na to potřebuješ, vole, PhD, ty kokot. 3 doktoráty, abys tomu rozuměl. No, to musíš úplně hrotit tu jedničku, no. Že ty máš Diablo 4, která je pro debily. Diablo je prostě pro blbce, to může hrát úplně každý. Pak máš, vole, Last Epoch, který je takovej jako mid, ten Last Epoch. A potom máš Poečko, no, který je prostě těžký. Nebo těžší, nejtěžší. Oh. Okay. To je pain, ty vole, no to je ono. Ty vole, Nature hraje split gate, jo. To mají ale to, ne? Nemá AD, ty vole, to nehraje za prachy, jo. Vidím. Podle netu, podle nějakého buildu, no já taky, jako. Rozhodně nebudu stavět sám, jsi blázen, ne? Hlavně ty lidi, kteří to jedou, kteří to hrajou, tak taky, že jo, před tou sezónou dodají nějakou tu stránku a tam si postaví ten build v klidu, který ten build třeba staví 2 hodiny, že jo. Že jako taky nejedou jako na ostro, plně. Samý hovna itemy, já jsem taky neměl štěstí, no. Já vlastně, jak jsem hrál toho Rangera potom, tak z začátku jsem měl štěstí. Jsem měl vodost větší štěstí. Ale když jsem hrál předtím poprvé toho Warlocka, nebo jak se jmenoval, tak to jsem měl takovou smůlu. To byla rakovina.
Two kills for the defenders, but XLG get off to a good start on this attack side. Sen elected to start on defense here.
Happy to collect a couple kills over to their initiators, but as far as early ultimates go, it's Zelsis close to that steel garden.
Ciekawy damage, no. Mělo taky, no, Young Kill mi dal na toho Warlocka taky něco, tam spadlo. Takže taky hned se měl potom větší damage, no. Ale na toho, jak jsem hrál toho Rangera s tím X-bowem, nebo jak tomu říkají v polečku, tak tam bych hned padl nějaký dobrý. A já se zvedavím na toho Assassina, no. Oni prohráli to druhý kola, myslím, že ho vyhráli, ty vole.
Sure, XLG wanted to get towards B, but realized they just have to get into A fast after all that. Fighting occurs in main. A lot of damage done to Narrate in second. Perhaps if they had real weapons, those would have just been straight up kills, but maybe the low HP could be enough for XLG to get back into this.
Sees in towards Pit, that is definitely going to catch on the midi, decaying him down, holding in place, and so Viva gets overwhelmed. No chance for midi to try and trade there from lower Pit.
Number one seed. Nice. I když on je, myslím, defense těžší, no, na téhle mapě. Než atak.
Very nicely handled that pace coming in from the attackers.
Yeah, there are multiple players stunned up.
What's it there?
From midi for Viva to try and swing off of here. Look at that. 3 of them, in fact. Really hoping there'd be maybe 2 players.
Já potom možná ještě na to kouknu, no, možná bych si to koupil. Kolik to stojí? No, tam myslím v tom. 24. Okay. Co bylo tady to?
Back in
19.
Celsius was putting up some of the most impressive maps we have ever seen from him. Statistically speaking, it was Lotus, it was Vice.
Jak za 3 dny, vole, za 5 dní.
XLG do a good job of getting this wall procced very early into the round. Not able to deal with the thorns that are littered across that C site, but at the very least that will keep Celsius feeling threatened as things progress.
We've seen how hard it is to sort of trigger that wall without, you know, like a Euro clone or something similar with these neon comps.
Podobá se hra, které jste hráli. PUBG. PUBG, jo.
He'll be able to regen up some of that shield to get onto the side. Once again, Sen are going to allow for this, Wyatt. They want the full retake behind. Still guarded.
Píše FIFA. Já FIFA hrál jenom na PS, no, takže na Steamu to nemám. Wow.
Combined for 4. Finally, Midi will have access to his weapon, but not before Narrate cuts him to the quick. Sentinels very quickly drop pistol. They have evened up the game.
Outrageous value from the early steel garden that Celsius got access to.
Nevím, no já potom na to kouknu, možná bych se to taky koupil. Musím podívat na nějaký gameplay. Jsem reálně neviděl nějaký gameplay. Ale přemýšlel jsem o tom, no. Přemýšlel jsem o Great Zone, jsem přemýšlel. Trochu to tady bylo, už tady není. A tady to dneska vyšlo, no. To vypadá jako actually dobře, ale je to jenom singláč. Což je docela sere. Proti to bude prdel, nemám. Taky jsem se těšil na Ark, no.
They can't smoke for a safe trigger of the shield wall on C either.
Až na podzim, ty piče.
Nothing to cut off Heaven. Raga, does he want to push for more? Going to slide across. Trying to get someone to swing off of him. Relay bolt decent. Forces send back. Spike down.
They can't stall the relay. They don't have any dark covers. Rolling Thunder though comes out. XLG hoping to fight with it, but the
dobře.
Decken gets in there, downed by Mini Stinger, and Shorty
Nice.
will get the job done. Smoke there over towards that baby door.
Dobrý blind.
Can he peek on a timing with Happyway? It's awkward with the Marshall to try and get a retake, and now he's going to be revealed essentially by the Prowler. Happyway taking pot shots, but doesn't quite have the accurate spot location.
Nice.
He's not trained on the mark. And that's a defusing. Viva looking a little uncomfortable towards the end of the round. He'll get narrate, but that is 3 in a row from the America squad.
There's simply nothing the XLG IGL could get accomplished. Trapped in baby door. Zekken just feeling like, damn, I got my showstopper already. I guess I'll just use it to win this anti-half buy. Why not? Free little kill to set things up. Lack of smokes when the execute comes through. XLG risk a lot going for the Rolling Thunder to push into spawn, which is essentially nullified just by bang. Anyhow, on this full buy, early A fight is going to commence. XLG getting out fast. Raga using that lane to get forward. Sen want none of it. They peel back to the site.
Holy priest. There.
Zekken down, that's Duelist out of the way. Happyway leads. It gets aggressive, but bangs up and spraying down through the box. A good TP away, and Narrate picks up the line for him. Again, defensive trading, very, very strong for Sentinels. And they swing around that corner.
Techno.
Handle Viva, though low.
Jak jako techno. Hra techno.
Silently working
Cože?
downstairs. Oh my god, what a double face. That's beautiful from XLG.
And that our drone isn't going in John's direction.
Jak jsem napsal v Epicu, jsem myslel jako Epic Games. Jakým Epicu, vole?
But Coconut holds it down while his teammate was in the drone.
There we go. There's some of those good fundamentals that we are calling on
Vás je Epicu, aha.
to have.
A že Epic Games, vole, nějaká exkluzivka, kámo.
They're able to still double up, fight together. They clear out Zelsis, who is silently rapping downstairs. Well played.
Where is Raga? Where is Raga? Quiet game, to say the least.
Hasn't been fully needed so far. Happyway continues to pick up some of the slack. Viva has a great round there with the Guardian.
0-5-0, kámo. 0-5-0. To jsou jak moji teammatey, vole. 0-5-0. 6 kol.
This time no pomp and circumstance, no fanfare about this A-side take. XLG are allowed to simply walk up.
To mapu nesnáším. Ty přemýšlím, jestli to je jedna z těch map. Nice. Oh.
Once again, it's a timing that XLG are just not ready for. In this round, the round here is really going to hurt the Chinese #1 squad.
Já si nemám mapu, kterou jako bych neměl nějak hodně jako rád. Tak mi to asi jedno, ty vole. Nevybavuju si žádnou mapu, kterou bych jako fakt jako nesnášel, ty vole. Jo, Icebox. Ten jeden často byla rakovina, ale to byla převážně za mě. Protože mi furt Protože jsem ji měl furt. To byl taky jeden ten z důvodů. Že jsem každý kolo, vole. Každou hru, vole, Icebox vyjebanej. Proto jsem ji neměl rád. 4-3, let's go.
Sensei, we don't have to fight hard for Rubble this round. We're going to let you walk into that Sentinel util and hit you on the flood back in.
Taky bych zahrál. Já jsem hrál předevčírem nebo kdy. Ale hrál jsem jenom normálku. A přemýšlím, že se to jako taky zapnu teď po téhle hře. Že si dám jako pár normálek, budu hrát zase normálky chvilku. A potom bych přešel na rankedy. Taky si myslím, že dostanu silver, no. Ještě jaká hraju. O to si já první. Víc normálek. Já jsem dneska unavený jako kot. I když po téhle hře asi ne. Po téhle hře půjdu pravděpodobně spát a budu sama brzo zítra. Zapnu to třeba nějak ráno. No, odpoledne. Mě to ani nebavilo teď, jak jsem unavený. Bych to vypl hned po první hře. Jdu do práce na celý víkend. Ty makáš i víkendovky, jo. Tak to je na kokot, kámo, no. A v kolik jdeš do práce? A do kolika děláš? 8 ráno jdeš, jo? Okay. Práce taky v 8. Ty pičo. No to by mě úplně mrdlo. Je víkend. Má být vedro jako kokot. Ještě v neděli má být 30 stupňů. A ty děláš 8 do 8. No ty pičo. Celý den v kundě. Se těším, no. Ty on zabil Zekena. Jsem se na piču čil, tak musím trpět. No ale máš byt, vole, a barák, vole. No. Tak pořád dobrý. A nic to nedali. 4-4. Ty auto dokonce, no vidíš to, ty vole. Kompas jsi už taky upgradenul, ne? Už nemáš tu jebku. Jsi měl předtím jebku, ne, vole? Vím, že ti předtím něco nejelo. Bože, si něco nemohl hrát, protože ti to nejelo. Ale nemyslím auto, vole, myslím kompa. Říkal jako, že i kompa si upgradenul. No tak ty vole. Boháč. Je to žádná sláva? A co tam máš za to? Na grafiku a procák. Ale rozjedu všechno. Tak není to žádná sláva, ale rozjedu všechno. What the fuck? Tak asi dobrý, ne?
You just really can't feel comfortable trying to get through the pit. So this is a pivot back to A where a couple XLG players are inserted.
Is there a timing out of tree to be found for Sentinels? Zekken seems to think so. Door toggled. Bang takes an off angle, turns the flash. That's going to be checked for. Relay bomb comes in, but they're not ready for this.
To byla škoda, že ho nebyl dřív. Nice.
Picture perfect hole from Sentinels. Stopping XLG in their tracks.
XLG threw just so much utility into tree, but not getting the connections with it. Relay bolt. I don't believe pings onto anyone there.
No, it goes past them. Onto the side through tree.
A jsem teď koukal ještě na tohle.
Greetings, Indie Warriors, and welcome to I Dream of Indie Games. My name is Gamer Joe, and it's...
Jo, sorry, mi hraje nějaký YouTube video. Vypadá docela dobře tady to. Myslím, že to koupím potom.
Millionth time in this game. They've had such economic struggles throughout the series.
Alright, snapped himself up a big daddy for this round. Odin.
To je taková... To je takový poječko.
Once again, that Vice Viper composition over at the seaside of the map is a little more than XLG would like to see there. Oh god.
Jako lidi na to nadávají, ale nadávají na to, protože to má méně kontentu než jednička, no, jenomže jednička je stará, vole, 10 let.
What can Zek do here?
Já kupoval ten Alze, ten box jich nějaký. Když si kupoval celý box, jo. A dobrý, jo. Myslím, že je lepší to sestavit. Tý sedmička. 72, vypadá. Není špatný, jo. Ne, špatný. Tam jiný, to nesestavím jsem plán. A tak, vole, já to taky nestavím, ne? To dáš do té Alzy. A oni ti to sestaví.
Still weaker weaponry for the attackers. Paranoia connects. Narrate deals with Happy Way, and Viva now takes some pot shots in through that smoke. John has to get on the defuse, but Coconut's already found some damage. A better weapon, maybe. It's half. John.
Nice.
Protected by Zekin. 6 defense side rounds for Sentinels. Have to make the coaching booth pleased.
It doesn't get much closer.
Že já jsem to udělal tak, že jsem šel na Linustech forum, na jejich forum. Tam jsem napsal budget, napsal jsem, že napíšeš i odkud seš a co třeba, na co to chceš, jakoby, co by si na tom šel hrát, tak podobně. No a týpci mi poslali, vole, asi 3 buildy, že? Pak jsem jedné z toho vybral, hodil jsem to do té Alzy a bim, hotovo.
They've got a rolling thunder.
Sin actually throw a more decisive 8-side variation.
Vybrala kompanie, ještě mu pič rozumím. Říkám, no. Linustech, Teeps, jak se to jmenuje, Linustech Teeps. Forum. Napsat, počkat jeden den nebo pár hodin, přijdou buildy, naklikáš to tam, hotovo. Jenom bylo to v Halsaboxu, no asi, jo. To je jednodušší.
Just not going to pan out when you're not getting accurate information on the Vice. You just cannot run into Zelsis setups like that.
Are they assuming that Zelsis is at A again? There's no attempt to force that wall out.
Being forced to teleport away now, so XLG are going to get a bit of control towards Rubble. 40 seconds or so left on the clock. Still rolling thunder in hand.
Běží na zpátek, jo.
To try and get back in this round where they're at a man disadvantage.
30 seconds left.
They want to pivot back to C.
Se divím, že nejdou na Bčko, ty vole.
Tries to find a timing. He does get in first, clears out some of the thorns.
Shell could end him though. Nope, Zelsis gets to him first. A com level flank play from Happy Way.
Taky nechápu, co dělají. Nejsem si mysleli, že oni utečou, no, z toho Ačka. A oni tam co? Oni tam pěkně seděli. Ani se nepohnuli. Dostávají bídu, no, jak jsi viděl. Ale brutálně. Co hrajete Zelsis?
It's resulted in his 10 deaths at the moment.
Já nevím, jak se jmenuje ta kunda.
Simply had to be fixed on Lotus.
Nevím proč, ale já chci říkat Sky, ale Sky to není. A ona má to, no, ona má, že jo, ten flash, ty ho přisadíš jakoby na zeď nebo na něco a můžeš ho zapnout kdykoliv chceš. Pak máš na zem jako takový dráty, taky to můžeš zapnout kdykoliv chceš. Pak máš třeba volu, že on nádá na zem nějakou píčovinu a tak když to projdeš, tak za tebou se udělá vola. Takže většinou ty hráči musí chodit jakoby třeba spolu. A ultina je taková, že to hodí, nevím jak je to velký, ale prostě ultina je taková, že všem zruší primary weapon na nějakou dobu, že nemůžeš střílet tou že vandalem a tak. What?
He's doing it all. Not only does he stop the plant, but that's the rolling thunder gone.
Jo, a já on ještě stopnul ten plant. Jsi se pozral, ne? The fuck? Co to je 2-1, jo?
2-1. To try and make this respectable 5 rounds in this first half.
30 seconds left.
Nejdou, stojí, jo.
There we go. He knows where to look.
Now sometimes even if you know what's coming, doesn't make it any easier.
Nice.
Second with 3. And Sen complete yet
Jako
another
Zeken hraje jak Magor.
on a map they themselves chose, knowing full well that it was XLG's best battleground.
2 of the rounds, XLG earning the pistol and initial anti-eco. By the way, the gun rounds dominant from Sen. They are playing so well today.
Got a quick break here, a chance for XLG to take their breath, and they need it. Stick around and see if this Chinese team can find their feet and composure after this.
To už je half play.
Esports is a $2 billion industry now, but it all started in dingy basements and cramped living rooms.
From how the pros train to how the money flows, this
$2 billion
and MasterCard series breaks it all down. 12 episodes packed with insight and lessons for anyone looking to understand the world of competitive gaming. Ready to learn the game behind the game?
Stay tuned for what's next. You won't want to miss it.
Do playoff. Ten dong. Tak to je dobrý, jo. Zeken má 38, no. A to ještě není konec té druhé mapy. Ještě mají minimálně 6 kol. Má 38. Dá 13-3. Dobrý. Tady to je jako jak dlouho to trvalo, nebo co? 18:35. Já to začínali? Ok. To je debilní stránka, kámo. Však tady nic není. Na té stránce tady jenom, že vyhrali 2-0. A to je všechno. Okay. To vypadalo jako všechno, ale konec stránky. Jo, je to ono, že jsem myslel.
Which unfortunately tells the story of their current state.
Navi.
Needs to come to life on defense right now. Was finding himself so disconnected from the pack, mostly due to Zelsis on the Vice.
Já bych to mají na píču. Mají to brutálně na píču, mu to napiš. To je kokotina. Hrozný web, to je web, vole. Když jsem já začínal s designem, vole, před 15-20 lety. To je příšerný. Jestli platí za lidi, vole, tak ať zaplatí designérovi a programátorovi, že to stojí za píču. No právě, no. No právě. Ty vole, to už je 3 versus 1.
Is it a good idea from XLG? Sure, but
1-6.
the execution falls to pieces.
Ale tu grafiku 100% updateli, protože to určitě vypadalo jinak.
It just crumbles in that moment. Can Happyway be a hero? Catches John on the cross. Isolated 1v1, but it's one out by Bang. And it feels like that could be the nail being driven into the coffin of XLG. He swings, disjointed. He's got the flash out, got the gun out. Assist Viva.
Nice. Okay.
Coconuts
We won that round, but
too far ahead on that initial swing.
And even though these rounds have been won by Stornoo, you can see they're not fully satisfied. I mean, Kaplan does seem a little bit more relaxed than
Co
usual.
býval? Ale mají v píči prostě. Je prostě v píči.
He's removed him from the corner, unblindfolded him. So this is well, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. XLG are praying to whatever god they believe in that. Sentinels blunder into the B site. Eventually they're going to have to go hunting themselves. They have zero info. Outside of this can, that's
Jako jasný, víš co, ale ty lidi si zvyknou stejně na všechno. Oni budou nadávat první týden a pak si na to stejně zvyknou. Oh.
He had it all to do on that corner with the sheriff. It'll be tough to pull off.
Je na všechno nový. Všichni nadávají a po týdnu už drží všichni hubu. A víš toho, teď to přešli a za nima se udělala ta... zeď. Tak to jsou skurveně rychlý hry, kámo.
Long-range stinger coming into play. It's now or never for XLG. Sentinel's bonus round buy is not incredible. Could certainly imagine a scenario where they want to fast VX, get Zekin up close with the stinger, try to get him into heaven off of a double satchel.
He's got a judge.
Má to pořád v sobě.
Does switch it up actually. Throws the stinger elsewhere. Maybe exact same plan, but just do it on C. Rargo wants to fight. He loves to fight Mound early. Did this a lot when he was playing Yoru on this map.
Mně se líbí ten Valorant víc než to CSko. Ale mě sere, že oni to přehnali s těma spelama. Ty spely jsou až moc, prostě úplně zbytečně. Ale úplně zbytečně. Ono podle mě, ten gunplay je podle mě vodost lepší, než má CSko 2. To se týče fakt jako je jenom čistýho prostě gunplayu. Tak mi ten Valorant prostě přijde vodost lepší. Ale ty spely jsou prostě sračka, no. A mohli udělat jako klidně jako, že to, jak se to jmenuje, Hero jako strategic shooter. Jenom prostě stačilo udělat, že by si měl třeba 5 hrdinů. Jo, každý ten, také jako máš třeba v LoLku, že máš top, jungle, mid, ADC support, takže by si měl něco podobného. Takže takzvaně by všichni šli vždycky proti všem. Jakoby stejný klásy, nebo stejný čempioni proti stejným čempionům, vždycky. Ten duchý střed ve Valu, ale je to nepřijde. Mně přijde jako, že to je přesnější, o tom mi jako jde. Zatímco ten CS2 je fakt jako random. Já jsem kolikrát prostě běžel a zabil jsem, vole, 3 týpky. Úplně random, ale úplně random v tom CSku. A tak ono to je vždycky. Tak kdyby si přecházel z Valorantu na CS, tak ti to přijde easy. Nebo jako na CS jedničku. Protože to máš prostě pořád, vole, jako Search and Destroy versus Search and Destroy, jako. Máš tady nějaký spely a tak, ale pořád víceméně střílíš. To se také jako rozdílejí. Mně se hraje na tom CSku, jak je to random. Fakt jak jsem hrál tu dvojku, abych expil ten Battle Pass, tak to prostě byla píčevina neskutečná na tom CSku. A pak se ti stane, vole, že sedíš, vystřelíš na týpka, který taky sedí a nezabiješ ho. I když si na něm přímo mířil a vystřelil si přímo na něj. Teď už to je, no. V začátku tak nebyla ta hra, no, ten Valorant. Teď už to je jako o hodně v ospělech.
This is XLG just taking their time, ready to pounce when the spike gets tapped. 15 seconds left.
Playing close and Raga. That is a full Ferrari pick there for Nang.
10
seconds jump. 7 seconds left. Still needs to be applied at some point. John taken down by Coconut. Off that push from stairs. And it's all on Bang. Bulldog with Midi and Viva standing in his way. Wraps around, but XLG are doubled up there. Not willing to take 1v1, but Bang's not going to give him the bloody...
Nice.
4 kills with a Red Bull clutch. And then once again, grasp at the next round of playoffs.
XLG just
I když mně přijde, jako ono to je v ospělech, ale kolikrát, nejsou špatný jak svině, no. Ale kolikrát máš, mi přijde, že víš, jako jednu hru, jedno kolo, brutálně moc spelů, tak prostě chcípneš a další kola je to v klidu. A pak zase přijde nějaký jedno kolo, kde zase hromada spolu a pak zase další kola je to v klidu.
So much danger. At a moment that felt unlosable, there were only 15 seconds on the clock.
And now Sentinel's expecting some form of reprisal from XLG. Very passive, looks over towards the A side. Inching forward on B, Outlaw.
Ty dohráli, no, ty jsou špatný jak svině.
Perfect round for it.
Slow take of Mount using the prowlers from Narrate. Very passive here as John just trying to ensure that no one from XLG pushes too deep. Second taking the peek. What? Whiffs onto Midi.
Wow.
Rapid sheriff shot.
And then Midi can just have himself an outlaw. All of a sudden.
Úplně vím, co jsi mi poslal.
Much improved.
Sampire is dead.
Já tak ne, já jsem myslel, že pošli z Valorantu.
Oh my god. Oh! How can you get along the whole squad? Sampire is dead.
Bang also with the front shadows. What to work with the spam is going to be deadly from this Odin. A very permeable piece of wall stands between Sen and XLG and Raga. Hopes to step up. Razorvine here is definitely going to be respected. Still not yet applied, and Narrator's gone down. The spike is loose. John's going to come forward. It's him and Delsis versus the entirety of XLG's combined might. And Delsis with the spray down.
OK, oni to ještě vyhráli stejně. Tak ty jsou v píči.
And set up match point. XLG just need to rush in there, stop the spike from going down. Multiple situations now where there is little to no time on the clock for Sentinel to get the spike down. There's so much excellent pressure from XLG coming in. But things are again disconnected. Coconut just a little bit too fast. The three of them not swinging together. Zelsis able to take advantage. The bait of the spike plant tucked into the corner to get the two-man spray down. Some elation for Kaplan and feeling of
Si dali pauzu na tu jednu hru.
XLG are on the precipice of disaster. Sentinels, the cusp of blowing them out on both maps.
What comes next after the Hail Mary, Wyatt? They've run out of rosary beads to clutch onto. XLG throw everything at Sentinels in that round. Everybody, every player gets in there. Raga with the overdrive.
Zítra je
They walk
Fnatic.
into this round at least with 100's Fury they can work something off of, but send in a post plan for the game with potentially a
A G2 bude hrát proti XLG. Tak to má vyhraný G2. Jestli XLG bude hrát úplně stejně, jak hrajou teďkon, tak G2 vyhráli.
And the advantage that they're going to have coming into this round feels insurmountable.
Ne, počkej, oni hrajou v neděli G2. Okay. Jo, tak to nebudou hrát proti XLG. XLG budou tady. To jsem zvědavý na ten Fnatic proti Genji, ty kokot. To jsem fakt zvědavý.
Against BLG, Sem weren't really given credit. An easy run to playoffs, they said. Now against the #1 team from China, selected specifically by them. At what point do we start realizing that they're a separate team to what they were last year, giving them that credit? And at what point do they redeem themselves after a shocker in Bangkok?
Easiest win ever for Fnatic.
Slow from set to open things up, expecting that out of the timeout there could have been an incredibly proactive play from the defenders, pushing at them. It's Raga alone in mount. Danger as Celsius does spot him out. As you mentioned, this Hunter's Fury available. That could be the crux of XLG winning this and staying in the game.
There's the smoke. This might be a pretty quick one. Sen really angling for a powerful post plant with a Viper's Pit in the mix. Coconut feels the pressure. It's immense. Second now with the showstopper holding on to this for a time. To upper. What's the timing going to be?
Ty vole, to byl timing jak hovado.
All of that retake, you two are going to start to be expended by XLG. They're going to try to find a way into this pit. Coconut starts through. Seconds down. Johnny's down, and so is the pit. On top of the Razorvine. XLG have found some step, but bang and
GG, kluci.
in their way and bang. Careful on the corner. Swing on it. Raga reads low. The slide is good. And now it's Narrate. He'll be revealed in a moment, but he'll do the same. Throw that C's in. Spray around the corner. Raga to half. And out the way.
Škoda. Skoro.
XLG's head above the surging tides.
Does get planted. It's actually looking good! It's looking great!
I'm 60 years old. You need to step up. I'm sorry.
Does get planted.
Position that swings wide, sliding deep. Happy Way able to capitalize off of Bang's crosshair placement being broken. The first step taken in an arduous journey back into this game. But XLG have managed to, at the very least, put Sen onto an eco. Just given they did so much damage in those prior rounds, they certainly walked away from feeling like they should have even won. Sen, all players stacked up amount, probably gets the info.
What? The long range stinger. Coconut, who stood tall in that last retake, has already fallen. Chance for a gun recovery. Bucky Town is exactly where Raga gets dragged. Narrator's low. It is a rifle pick up for second, and John goes to work. XLG.
GG.
Thrust into the spotlight to speak.
Oni to fakt vysílali, jo.
Against the
Oh,
juggernaut
fuck.
of Sen that is dispatched their countrymen one by one. Now put it all on Viva. Sentinels have no incentive to push off this site whatsoever. They'll await the chime of the victory music. Viva down to 15 is all too much to do for XLG and Sentinels.
Tak to bylo až moc easy, ale piče.
What room he walked into?
top seed from China on the international.
What room he walks into.
That's as clean as it gets. Zeus is performing so well on the defensive half of the map.
To je kokot.
About seconds,
Aby proti to vyhrál, no to ne, no. Jsi vždyť tam stranej a pak hraješ ještě hůř. No, dobře vyhráli, no. Čekaj, na tohle jsem se chtěl podívat.
It's Friday, so that means it's time for Indie Underdogs. Yes, if you want to discover some hidden indie gems that came and went, well, this is the show for you. We've got 10 awesome, very weird selections for you this week, so grab yourself a cold drink and hit that like and subscribe button if you've yet to do so, because it's go time. But real quick, if you're as passionate about indie games as we are, well, then consider. Alright then, let's get into it this week. The key incredible
pičovina.
free, so you have no reason.
Pičovina.
Weird food. Not sure how I feel about the texture, but fried, it's pretty alright, I guess. But a tofu action game, that's something we can all enjoy on Steam. Sticking with the platform game, but it's the cute visuals and feel-good vibes that it emits that you'll remember the most. I always wanted to say that on the channel, but was looking for an excuse. Now we're finally talking about hot dogs. Anyway, I don't like Lucy Dreaming, which was sadly left changes.
Já jsem trochu myslel, že tam budou jiný hry, vole.
With a donut-themed puzzle game, because why not? Freshly frosted.
Tak to nic.
Si on regarde les dernières performances dessus, mais c'est surtout, on l'a vu.
I'm checking my drink.
Everything. This is looking crisp right now. And again... What is going on?
I can't.
Oh, please! Please, yes, man! Stop beating everyone! Come on!
My God! He's a woo! The best in the game steps up with 4 unbelievable scenes here.
Ještě vysměje, ne, kokot.
He wants the spot.
Let's go, boys!
The fuck.
You're not gonna get past him.
I love Apex so much.
Nice! Let's go! Nice! I don't know what you did, but it was funny. I fucked them with my MP9!
He must live back here to buy the time, and a nice flick. Take down Convict. Shot,
Oh.
sister. What a spray! And it's a
Bylo dobrý.
triple to end it. Apex. Yeah, your bruise did not affect him. He does not care.
And lucky just a split second too late. It's so hard to get that coordination down.
Fantastic.
No! Nice! Matou, I love you. I love your fingers on the left. I love those fingers on the left.
I don't remember that. The fuck? He was nice one.
I love you.
So what's that all about?
Because he did a good goal.
Okay.
He did a good goal.
Apex going to try and respond with a flash of his own. It's got to be a good flash.
Myslím, že já tom
A
kole.
trial run of it.
Oh, he's called the bluff.
Oh, again.
Might have done him.
He might. Simple has to hold it. Apex needs to hit this shot. He pulls him off the bomb. I think he's done enough. They deny the 1v3. Apex, the lowest of all HP. Does Simple get away? Nope.
Oh, no. Jesus, Dan.
Let Saiwoo get in with that bomb, push him into the clutch. 15 on the line, doesn't plant. He goes for kills instead.
He has no choice. But he only needs
Ale on vždycky nic nedělá, ty vole.
Oh my God. Bloodthirst.
The CT side, now their streak can begin. Unless Na'Vi are going to steal away some Glock rounds.
Já furt vidím, vole, že Zivo udělá něco a on potom jede, vole. Co, ale naře fakt Apex a týpek stará ukaze hlupo.
That's not fair.
And automatic's done for. Oh.
That's not really fair.
Saiwoo gave him the old rope-a-dope.
Ej, kokot. Vole, Duna má 130 000 hráčů. Jenom na Steamu. Tak to jo, ty vole. No nic, ale já budu mizet. Já budu mížet. Ty si teda zítra užij práci. Já hezky vstanu. Nasnídám se. A pak zapnu asi Valorant. Život, no, píči. Píči. Počkej, Once Human vymažu, instalovat. Final Fantasy, odinstalovat. Splitgate si ještě nechám, třeba si to zahraju, Borderlands taky ještě nechám. Vymaže. Ona to je dobrá hra, no, ale já na to musím mít jako nějakou náladu. Jo, aby jsem si to zahrál, aby mě to jako nějak víc lákalo. Výborný vydavatel. Ukáž. Ty vole, enjoy. 35, 36. PUBG Blind Spot? Co to kurva je? To je turn-based, ne? Střílečky s povrchem z vrchu. Ukáž.
I hold the window.
We're all main gate, and then and you need to scan every one of these rooms, Dross, and then scan this one as well.
Yeah. All right, I got it.
There's a shield behind this, which is even better for us. BPK, you're holding this whole hallway from like one of these corners.
The guard dog gameplay.
BTK, careful the lurk on this as well.
Side flank, but BTK Master is waiting for it. He keeps looking over in that direction, but hadn't spotted him.
And then me, Gunner, and Drass, we are making our way to this room. We have to cross in the open of this, but Suppress should be holding it.
I'm about to start scanning left side. Are we good?
You guys ready?
I'm nading this room.
I'm ready.
Careful, don't go in there. I don't see anything in there. I'm holding.
And then we have to clear this whole hallway. There's nothing really to play behind. If there's a guy with a shield, we need to use util, because like we can't just run at him or we'll die. Get a smoke on the crypt.
To je tak divná hra. Až mě to jako láká si to zahrát, ty pičo. Zajímavý. Dáme do systému, to vyzkouším, potom až to vyjde. Už to vyšlo, tak jsem to hrál non-stop. Skoro to jsem měl dovolenou zrovna 90 hodin. Ty vedlejší questy byly popičen, který. No jako ono, když bych to možná hrál, jak to vyšlo, tak bych to taky si hrál jinak, no, než když jsem to hrál teďkon. Víš, jako jen tak, protože nebylo co hrát, tak proto jsem to hrál. Jako žádný jiný důvod jsem prostě byl to, no. Kdybych to hrál předtím, tak by to bylo úplně něco jiného, no. Ty vole. To jsem hrál, ne, vole, podobnou hru. Tak před 30 lety, vole. Ne, před 25 lety. Fuck. Ale je Rocket League, vole, to vypadá jak jedna ta. Jak něco jiného, ty vole, ty nepamatuju si to jméno, ale úplně stará hra. To je hrát solo, no, to se taky nedivím, no. To taky na píču. Tady není ani trailer, jo. 5 teams entered the Aran. One emerges victorious, bring your squad in the next order for the third person MOBA. 5 teams. Co? Jak 5 teams? What the fuck? Fakt, že jo, no má 5 hráčů. Takže se vybíjená. Vybíjená. Ty vole, vůbec nevím, co myslíš, ale vůbec. Pizza Bandit. Já vůbec nevím, co myslíš, kámo. Vybíjená. Podobná nějaký image. Vybíjená, vole. A když jsme to asi hráli, jako před jakou dobou? A co to bylo jako third person, first person? Hodně dlouho už. Třetí osobě. To nebylo na Steamu, ne? Jo, tady to, Knockout City. Tohle. Oni to zrušili. Mě to taky bavilo, no, ale já nevím, co se s tím stalo. Knockout City on June 23, just over 2 years after it launched, the free-to-play but once said the live game business has also been invested changing. Jako to bylo dobrý, no. Tak ono to mělo, vole, za 2 roky. To přilákalo 12 milionů hráčů. A zrušili to. Že tam na tom Steamu to má velmi kladné recenze. I'm sad that I cannot play it anymore. It's very sweet that they released free private servers with all the cosmetics. Ja, takže ty to můžeš hrát na free private, jo. Struggling to the 10 players. Will no longer be playable. Je škoda, no. To bylo dobrý, jako. Podobá se hrám Throne Liberty PUBG. Kámo, to kdo tohle dělá? Fakt, oni by potřebovali kompletně předělat Steam, protože ten stojí tak za piču. To není možný. Přemýšlím o tom Crazy Zone, no. Je to možný, no. Kdo ví, jako prostě to nechytla, že jo? Třeba i špatný marketing. Mám tady 7 minut. Je nějak blbě, ne, vole? Tady to byla dobrá. A 1-1, jo no. To byla hra, ty víčo. Ani nevím, jestli jsem vyhrál, ty vole. Naraka je taky strašně dobrá. Naraka mě hodně bavila, no. A vím, že se to pořád jako hraje, ale nemyslím si, že se to hraje v EU. Protože ono to má reálně, ono to je kolikrát jako top 10 na Steamu hraný. Jako aktuální počet hráčů. Ale myslím si, že to nebude jako, že na EU to bude hrát hodně málo lidí. Ale že tady to bylo, tady to je hodně dobrý, no. A oni furt vydávají, že nový čempiony, updatey, všechno. Ale vole, se hrál 48 minut, to byla píčovina. Fragment taky není jako reálně špatný. Ani nevím, jestli se to pořád hraje, ty vole, Fragpunk. — 5000 lidí. To je hodně málo. No nic, ale já mizím. Jsem unavený jako svině, jdu spát. Jsem starý kokot. Je 10:30, pátek večer, musím jít spát. Že mějte se krásně. Ty když jsi do práce, ty běž taky, vole. A dobrou noc.